It's a fitting song as Connor McDavid chases point 1,000 tonight. Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. As always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. It is Thursday. You know what that means? Woo, one of my faves, the Daily Grand. $1,000 a day for the next 20 years. 7.2 million. You can get that. You can get in on whether or not you think Connor McDavid is going to reach point 1,000 tonight. Will he do what he's done in the previous 9 milestone chases? When he was looking for point 100, point 200, point 300, point 400, point 500, 600, 700, 800, and 900, he had multi-point games every time. Do you recall last January, a 5-point game in a 5-2 victory over Philadelphia? They got him to 900 points. He came in with 898. He skated away with 903. So a multi-point game, that might be your play at playalberta.ca. Just remember, if you do use it, use your game sense. Stay within your limits, playalberta.ca. Hey, I'm Jason Gregor. He is Connor Halley. And man, we got a loaded show for you today. Lots to discuss. Of course, we'll touch on the Edmonton Oilers as they get set to host the Nashville Predators tonight. Oilers, there is a significant lineup change. No Victor Arvidsson tonight. They will go 11 forwards and 7 defensemen as Travis Dermott will get into a game today. Now, doesn't sound like it's anything serious, according to Chris Knobloch, saying day-to-day, and he expects Arvidsson to play on the weekend. They are in Toronto on Saturday, then they're in Montreal and Ottawa next Monday and Tuesday. So, no Connor McDavid, Victor Arvidsson tonight. Meanwhile, no Novak. He is still out for the Nashville Predators. Their center depth wasn't great to start. You got Ryan O'Reilly centering Forsberg and Stamkos, Sissons with Nyquist and Marchessault, Parsonen between Tomasino and Evangelista, and then Michael McCarron centering Cole Smith and Zachary Leroux. As you look at that center, O'Reilly, Sissons, Parsonen up against McDavid, Draisaitl, Henrique, that is a big advantage for the Oilers. The main reason why they are 12-1-1 in their last 14 games against the Preds. In his last 16 games, Draisaitl, 23 goals, 37 points. Like, it's kind of ridiculous to say it out loud. 23 goals, 37 points. Connor McDavid, he has a 14-game point streak against the Preds, and he has 39 points in his last 19 games. These two have absolutely owned the Predators. And tonight, where there's 1,000 on the line to become the 4th fastest in NHL history, there will be a little bit of extra juice, a little bit of extra buzz. I think on the bench, talk to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Ekholm, and his teammates are pumped about it, as they should be. It's a pretty big deal. 4th fastest all time. I went through McDavid. McDavid said out of those 999 points, 659 have been assists. And his assists, when they're spread out, no surprise, but Leon Draisaitl, he has 192 goals. Nugent-Hopkins is next at 71, Zach Hyman at 67. Then it goes Pat Maroon, 23, Puljujarvi, 22, Zach Kassian, 20, Kane, 19, Darnell Nurse, 19, Evan Bouchard, 19. The only current skaters who are forwards who McDavid has yet to assist on a goal, Arvidsson, just new to the team, Podkolzin, yet to score, and Connor Brown. Then, of course, on the back end, you have, the new guys, Emberson, Dermott, and Troy Stecher. But everybody else at least has one. 55 different players have scored a goal that Connor McDavid has assisted on in his career thus far. Some great names on that list Johan Ovitu would be the number one most obscure name without question. Didn't play very many NHL games, but he got a goal, baby. And it was assisted by McDavid. He'll always have that. Great. You Tyler Ennis from Edmonton had one. Of course, Josh Curry, Slater Cuckoo, Ryan Strome, Colton Sevier, Iro Pakarinen, excuse me. Anton Slepyshev. Heck, Brandon Manning scored 2 goals. The McDavid assisted on. Same as Ryan McLeod. They each had 2. So Brandon Davidson. So there you go. Josh Archibald, 8 goals assisted by McDavid. Ty Ratty, remember when he was the answer at Oilers Nation? He has 5. So Benoit Pouliot, Ethan Bearman. It's a blast from the past. It's like a mixture of the end of the decade of darkness for Oilers fans and a new one. So you can see the entire list on my X or on the Jason Gregor Show Facebook. It's up there. You'll see all the names that maybe you're curious about. So could one of those other guys become on point 1,000? And guess what? With 11 forwards, lots of guys are going to get a few shifts with McDavid tonight. It's not a bad thing. Like if I'm Chris Knobloch, I'm starting McDavid's line, I'm going to Henrique's line, and then I'm going McDavid, Draisaitl, and Podkolzin in my third shift. 100%. I'm getting McDavid on the ice. I want the 1,000 point as quick as I can. Get the building because you know the place is going to go nuts. I fully expect the players to leave the bench to congratulate him if it happens early, and away you go. As I mentioned, he has a 14-game point streak going against the Preds. He has 11 first-period points in that time, and 6 times he has a point in the first 10 minutes. So it's almost half the games. So I would be prepared for a McDavid-like dominant performance. So he is, I think he's highly motivated. Obviously, he's back to feeling it. Look at his last 2 games. Like the Islander game for certain. That was his most dominant game right from the get-go. And when he starts to feel it, you if you're in the building, you know what I'm talking about. If you're at home, how many of you are, maybe you're laid back on your couch, all of a sudden you find yourself sitting up a little bit straighter. Ooh, what's he going to do this shift? And I could see tonight being one of those nights. Honestly, I won't be surprised if he scores at least 3 points, maybe more. I think it'll be a fun evening to go. And by the way, there are a few tickets left. You can go to edmontonowners.com/tickets, and hey, you could be in the building for McDavid's 1,000th point. He will be the 4th quickest player to 1,000 points, the 4th youngest. And as I've said before, I think he will be 2nd when it gets to 2,000 points. Not bad. He tonight, when he does it, he'll become the 99th player in NHL history to have 1,000 points. He'll be the 4th Oiler to reach 1,000 as a member of the Edmonton Oilers. All 1,000 points coming in the blue and orange, joining Gretzky, who had 6 points in the game that he reached 1,000. He only needed 1. Mark Messier, Jari Kurri, each had 3-point nights when they picked up their 1,000 point. They did it a year apart. Kurri did it in January of 1990, and then Messier did it in January of 1991. So now, Oilers fans, you won't have to wait long. Next season, Leon Draisaitl is going to get his 1,000 point. Now, will it be at home? I don't know. Because Messier and Kurri did it on the road. Kurri in St. Louis, Messier in Philadelphia. Gretzky did it at home against the LA Kings on December 19th, 1984. That was in between their back-to-back Stanley Cups. They won in 84, won again in 85. We'll take your thoughts as always. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our E-Well inbox, EWEL.ca. Connor Halley is here today. And Con, man, expectations for tonight's game. Like I can tell you just talking to the players, there's a little bit more buzz around the team.
Yeah. And I mean, I think there should be. This won't, in my opinion, be a game where you have a letdown. You're coming out there. The energy is going to be good. Every time Connor McDavid picks up the puck, I think the crowd's going to ramp up just a little bit more. I mean, I think that happens anyways. when he's picking the puck up at his own blue line. But just the thought that this could happen tonight at a moment's notice, and he'll be tracking it. Like, oh, was that a second, third assist? If it comes down to that, everyone's going to be locked in. Crowd's going to be amped up. And I think that's going to benefit this Oilers team who, obviously want to see him get that done. But, if he's having a good night, that goes a long way in finding this team's way to victory. And that's what they need as well. They're in a tight race here. They got to keep on winning hockey games. I know it's early on in the season, but it's a great time to make up some ground. And in the process, get Connor McDavid that 1,000th point. I think it comes quick. I think it's going to be, we'll save predictions for 5 questions. But yeah, Gregor, I think the rest of the team's going to be fired up and try to get this one done quick.
Gregor didn't mention Jeff Skinner. Well, yeah, because McDavid assisted on one of Skinner's goals. Remember when they played their first game together? They scored in the first shift. What was it, like 1855? So, yeah, Jeff Skinner's already been he scored a goal that was assisted by McDavid. But Arvidsson, Podkolzin, and Connor Brown are the forwards tonight who have yet to score a goal when it was assisted by McDavid. So, now they haven't been here very long. But that'll likely change. And their odds increase tonight, considering the Oilers are going with 11 forwards. And Chris Novak did mention, you'll see Draisaitl double shift. You'll see McDavid. You'll see some different combos. Corey Perry's going to play a little bit with Leon Draisaitl tonight, according to Knobloch. We'll see how it goes. Now, will we see a defenseman get a shift up front? I don't know. Is Travis Dermott going to be that guy? Who knows? I think the odd shift here or there is fine, but if you're a defenseman, you'd probably like to play defense, unless you're full-time. Now, if it's in a blowout game or something like that, then it's kind of fun, but I'm sure the odd shift, gets the bench fired up. Oh, look, here's so-and-so playing forward. It's kind of fun. So, other games of other news to tell you. Could you see the trifecta in Edmonton? Connor, how about if I outline this picture for you?
Sure.
Chris Morris, CEO and president. Ed Hervey, GM. Rick Campbell, head coach.
I would say that's an A+ offseason. From coaching and management, yeah. Ed Hervey would be the biggest one, I think. Chris Morris, good hire. I think everyone's happy with that one. Ed Hervey set the tone when he was here. And he helped them win football games, which, despite what some people have said, to me is the biggest thing. Some might say the only thing. Winning is what matters. Ed Hervey's got the track record. Campbell, I like the history behind that, and he's a good coach. I think that would be a grand slam for this offseason.
Yeah. I was looking at other names that I wouldn't completely rule out. And, there's some talk that, the Elks, BC, what's his name? Ryan Ragman, that he turned down the interview for the Elks because I think he's going to be the next GM of the Lions. And so, does he want to keep Rick Campbell? Right? That's a valid question. And if he does, then who else potentially? Because I was looking around the league at people, and connections matter. I don't think there's any doubt about that. There are some connections that matter for players and coaches and everything like that. And if you look at the different guys around, Jordan Maksimic is the OC currently in BC. Now, does he just come with Rick Campbell, who's currently the co-GM and head coach? Him and Neil McAvoy, and there's some rumblings that Ryan Ringmaiden will become the GM. So what does that mean? Does, Rick relinquish his co-GM title? Is that uncomfortable? Does he leave? His contract's done at the end of the season? I don't know that question. But Rick Campbell, Jordan Maksimic, wouldn't be shocked if that's a potential connection to Edmonton. So keep that in mind. It is a Grey Cup week. Chris Morris does have 10 days in his self-imposed timeline to get his GM hired. I think he's waiting. I think he'd like to interview the assistant GM in Winnipeg. But maybe he'll be like, you know what? I did my interviews. Hervey's the guy I want. We'll see. But I won't there's some green and gold connection there. Morris, Hervey, Campbell. Chris Morris, what was the thing he said very clearly and repeated numerous times in his press conference? He wants to bring back the Eskimo way. And the best way to do that sometimes is to bring people who understand what it is. And Hervey and Campbell would definitely do that. So we shall see. Coming up on the show today, Landon Ferraro will join us. We'll break down the orders in the Prez. We got Dalton Wasserman talking a little football. Derek Taylor will talk Grey Cup. Of course, it is a closed practice day at the Grey Cup today as the Bombers and the Argos. The Bombers are big favorites, man. How do they lose this game, honestly? I'll be stunned if they lose this game. Hal Gill, former NHL. He's a big human, man. Saw him again today at the rink. He'll join us. Speck will be by, and Evan Bouchard, and much more on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca on the day where Connor McDavid is going for 0.1000.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Centre's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
When interest rates are low, that's a good time to buy a vehicle. And 0% means it's a great time to buy. Right now, St. Albert Dodge can set you up with 0% financing on hundreds of vehicles. Virtually all new 2024 models. Jeep Compass, Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, and Wagoneer. 0%. Dodge Durango and Hornet. 0%. Ram 1500, 2500, and 3500 trucks, all as low as 0%. Why pay interest? Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Get the latest intel before the next hockey game. It's the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show with Andrew Walker and Landon Ferraro. Before the game, join us all season long on Edmonton Sports Station, Sports 1440.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions, take one for Gene Principe. Are you ready, Gene?
Ready. I'm not just here to make a thermo a couple of bucks. I'd never just microphone it in.
Take one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom. I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for furnace season.
What's not to love? With no interest and no Principe. Here.
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike a furnace, I have no filter.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
At Papa John's, better is our specialty. Try our butter chicken pizza, the meat, the works, garden fresh, and more. Each special in its own way, just like you. With that ooey, gooey, crispy, crunchy taste, fresh, never frozen dough, and quality topping. Special has never tasted better. And so, for a limited time, get any large specialty pizza for just $17.99 with promo code LG1799 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Papa John's.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches. We provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions, take one for Gene Principe. Are you ready, Gene?
Ready. I'm not just here to make a thermo a couple of bucks. I'd never just microphone it in.
Take one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom. I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for furnace season.
What's not to love? With no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year.
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike a furnace, I have no filter.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Cross Mitsubishi rolls into winter with the hottest financing available. 0% financing.
2024 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross starts at $26,898 plus tax. A 2024 RVR starts as low as $22,098 plus tax.
Mitsubishi Outlander rolls out as low as $35,498 and tax. 2025 PHEV Outlanders start at just $40,498 plus tax. Get into a Mitsubishi Mirage starting at $16,848 and tax.
Visit Cross Mitsubishi and drive your ambition. 9605 34th Avenue and crossmitsubishi.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. This is one big deal for one big pizza. Get an extra large New York style one topping pizza for only $17.99. Order today at papajohns.ca.
Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.222, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. It is game day, a little bit more of a special game day, as Connor McDavid is on the verge of career point 1,000. He would become the 99th player in NHL history to score 1,000 points. He would become the fourth fastest player to do it in 659 games. Only Mike Bossy, 656, Mario Lemieux, 513, and Wayne Gretzky, 424. Did it quicker. For reference, in his era, the closest guy is Sidney Crosby, 757. McDavid does it tonight. That'll be 98 games quicker than Crosby, for goodness sakes. Later this year, Nathan McKinnon's going to reach 0.1,000. But when he does it, he'll have played about 190 more games. Now, McKinnon's dominant now, but he wasn't right out of the gate like McDavid was. Not close. Now, McKinnon's unreal right now. He is. He's closed the gap in the conversation for best player in the game. It's still McDavid, but McKinnon is he's closing in. There's no question about it. He's having another dominant season. So it'll be a fun time at Rogers, I think, for those in attendance and those watching at home. Let's get to the oil report brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton.com. Stop in right now and you can get some great deals, 0% financing, as they have Black Friday pricing going on all month. And the new 2025 XC90s are in, and they're fantastic. Check it out. Volvo Cars Edmonton.com. As former NHLer, he, of course, is the pre- and post-game host on Sports 1440. Landon Ferraro joins us. Landon, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm excellent. Who was the best player you ever played with?
I mean, for a quick little bit was Pavel Datsyuk by far. But, you know, being around Patrice Bergeron for a season was like just seeing him day in and day out and what he put into it. Like that was a whole learning experience in itself. But I mean, Pav's hands and how he could take over a game was, I mean, I was reading some of the quotes of guys talking about Connor and, you know, like Henrique saying like, you're sitting on the bench in awe. Like that's what I was doing with Datsyuk. Like you just can't believe some of the things they're able to pull off.
Yeah. Well, they call him the Magic Man. It wasn't a surprise. Like some of his stick cannon, like I still remember a few of his shootout moves and breakaway dekes on guys. You're just like, oh my God. Like it was, you know, looks like he would make NHL goalies look like, you know, kind of minor hockey league goalies at the time. And even defensemen, it was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the first time he did that, like pull off his backhand and then flip it over the goalie, I think it was Turco in Dallas.
Yes.
If I'm right.
Yes.
Like, to be able to have the stones to go down there and flip a puck on net on a very good NHL goalie. Oh, just unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, now were you there when he did it the first time?
No, I
Okay,
wasn't.
okay. Because I
We were all
would.
watching it the next morning in the minors.
Oh yeah, I would have loved to have just seen like the reaction of teammates, like what, or like that would be one of those. You got to be joking, right? Because and usually the superstar guys, like sometimes they'll have fun with it, but a lot of times they're kind of sheepish and they're humble and oh yeah, whatever. But God, it would sure be nice to be able to see a guy in the room come afterwards and be like, "Did you guys see that? That was unbelievable, wasn't it?" Like to me, that would be awesome.
Well, I think some of the funniest parts with when that stuff happens, and like any group of friends knows what I'm talking about here, but like something will happen and it gets the entire group of grown men laughing like little kids, like just giggling, because you don't even know how else to react to it. Like you just start laughing.
Yeah, well, that's true, right? Because you're just like, I can't believe what he just did. And yeah, he was dynamic. And McDavid's done that numerous times. I spoke to Matthias Ekholm, who played against him for, up until 2 years ago. And he was like, man, when he was on the ice, you had to be extra attentive, and it didn't really matter sometimes. But now that he's on your team, like it gives guys so much more energy. And I can imagine just talking to Nugent Hopkins today and Ekholm and other guys, like there's a buzz around the room because it's inevitable he's going to get 1,000 points. Everybody knows he's going to do it, but every guy is like it would be awesome to be part of his 1,000th goal.
For sure. Just to be around greatness in any facet is always, a very good thing and something that gets you excited about your own journey and whatever you're trying to do, right? Like you grow up watching your favorite players and idolizing them and trying to, replicate things that they do. It's no different once you get to the, to the highest level. Like you look at the best guys and you're still in awe. And you're still trying to, it's a little tougher with McDavid in the sense that you just physically can't do some of the things that he does. But like, there's always little pieces you can start pulling from their game and trying to put into yours. It's exciting to be around. And, it's to the point where we're all so spoiled in the sense of like, he gets, he's starting to put points away last game and you're like, he's going to do it tonight.
Yeah.
Like, who else are you expecting to put up 5 points to close it out, right? Like, but it's something that is not actually out of the realm of possibility when Connor McDavid's feeling it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's 100%. And, and then you go into a team, like if you're the Nashville Predators and you have been absolutely kicked in the teeth now by McDavid and Draisaitl specifically and the Oilers for 6 years. Like, it's not like it's a one-off or two. And some of those guys haven't been there, of course, but Roman Josi, Philip Forsberg, UC Saros, they've been there the whole time. Few other guys have been there a little bit longer, and you're just like, they come in there and they know what the other team's doing. And I know you try to motivate yourself. Yeah, we're going to play spoiler tonight. This will be great. But man, it would be easy if McDavid scores early to have here we go again night.
100%. And the scary part is with how the Oilers have been playing as of late here, and more guys are, starting to find their game consistently and putting up points, is like, even if you shut down Connor McDavid, well, there's Leon Draisaitl there, and Hopkins is starting to get his touch back last game, and like guys are starting to pick it up. Like, it's not the teams of years ago where if you shut down one of those, you got a pretty good chance of winning.
Yeah, Landon Ferraro joins us. Landon, you look at like McDavid and Draisaitl. I was looking at their numbers together, and obviously they've been pretty dominant. There's no question. Draisaitl's assisted on 192, or sorry, McDavid's assisted on 192. Of Draisaitl's goals, lots on the power play, lots 3-on-3. They both got 16 goals in overtime since coming into the NHL. And I would guess most of those are probably assisted by the other guy. Chemistry is hard to build, but sometimes some guys just have it. Like, I'm sure you've played with guys at different levels where it just clicked. These two now have spent almost a decade together. And so now you have tons of time to sit down, chat. I'm sure at dinner they might be talking about, I saw this, I see that. And can you explain just the value of chemistry and how at times, McDavid and Draisaitl are going to do things just because their instincts knows where the other guy is going to be. And most other players can't try that pass because they don't know yet that the other guy is going to be there.
And I think that's the biggest thing is, yes, it takes time to find chemistry and you can have those conversations, but a lot of it is you have the same type of hockey IQ. You see the game a certain way and that other person just happens to gel with that really well. we're talking McDavid and Draisaitl are, two of the best players in the league, and it's not a we're going to dump the puck in and go get it back. It's like, no, they're going to be making plays. They want to hold possession. It's it's easy to work in and out together because it's almost just thinking, what would I be doing in that situation? Like, I know I'd be going off the back post as the other guy's kind of winding up over top of the face-off dot. Like, you start to feel those things between each other. But with those two, I think it's just such a natural fit of a possession game, a high skill game, but at the same time, like, they know when to put their heads and shoulders down and make it, and play a real man's game as well. Like, it's not just on the outside. They know they got to get to the inside, and they can use their hands in tight. So, when Connor McDavid's going into a 1-on-2 situation, a lot of other guys would feel like they got to come close and give him some support. But really, like, he wants everyone to back off at that situation.
Yeah.
Draisaitl's just worrying about getting open. He'll take care of his side. It's little things like that.
Landon Ferraro joins us, analyst on Sports 1440 pre and post-game show. You can listen to him coming up with Mr. Walker later on tonight for pre and post as the Oilers go up against Nashville. And, obviously there's lots of focus on the individual potential here for McDavid tonight. But the Oilers as a team, they go into Vancouver, pretty solid game. Then they win against the Islanders, and, they didn't love their third period, but for long stretches of that game, they were the better team again. They finally got some offensive punch here. Their power play is looking a lot better. And, all the underlying numbers suggest that Edmonton was going to start winning again. But just because they say it, you got to do it. And you get a few more guys with confidence. You like, tonight's another game, like, outside of McDavid, like, they're just a better team. And they've got such an advantage down the middle. Like, Nashville, even with Novak, doesn't have the same. But now you take them out, and you know what? Like, their second and third line centers, and well, even their first line center, they're not even close. So when you have better centers, how did you feel that allowed you to control the game more?
Well, just right off the hop, you generally start with the puck every shift. If you have good centers, they're winning draws, or at worst, making it a 50-50. Now your wingers can come in and help. Like, if you lose a face-off, generally, like, you don't have the puck for the next 7 seconds or so, right? Like, that's a quarter of your shift starting to go away.
Yeah.
So, like, now you're starting with the puck, and not only that, like, having a good centerman that sees the game well, understands that defense is first, well, that now allows you to get out of your zone quicker. When you have those, like, straight offensive-minded centermen, it makes it tougher because, they might not be as low in the zone, coming low and slow, trying to support that D or coming underneath that winger. They're already, thinking about the offensive side. And, to have the hockey IQ down the middle, it just makes your wingers so much more comfortable going down the lineup as well. Like, the center ice position is like the ultimate, like, kind of steadier of the team. If they have a tough night, it's going to be tough for everyone.
Right.
If they have a good night, it makes the night a lot easier because, again, like, you're just starting with the puck. When you start with the puck, that saves so much energy. And now you can put it into the offensive side of the game.
Looking at Nashville, and so because they don't have that now, Ryan O'Reilly's a really good center, but he's probably a third line center, on a good team right now, maybe low end second line center, really good in the face-off, smart, all that stuff, but he doesn't have the great offense. Now they've got two great wingers there in Forsberg and Stamkos, but when you don't have like a great distributor to two shooters, it really makes it difficult for them to accentuate their skill as shooters. Correct?
100%. And it was part of the issue, I feel like, like Draisaitl and Arvidsson have started to build some decent chemistry and his game was coming along. But early on when they were trying it, like, Arvidsson wanted the puck so much, especially when Skinner was on that line as well.
Yeah.
Like, all the best players want the puck on their stick, but there's only one puck to go around. So now, like, you're pulling away from other people's abilities while trying to make your game go. I feel like that's a big issue in Nashville right now is you have a bunch of shooters, but, like, who's getting the puck to those guys?
Yeah.
Where is that coming from? You have to be able to, at some point, take a back seat to your own goal scoring numbers to help the team along. Like, you need to be able to find that, well, we were talking about it before, like you need to find that chemistry. You need to find how can we play together while maximizing our individual abilities, and they haven't been able to figure that out yet.
Yeah, and that's hard, right? Because if you don't, like, you can't make a center be something he's not, right? You can't make a winger be what they're not. Defenseman, same thing. And like you can improve small elements of their game, but I'm sure you play, and you knew, like at the end of the day, Landon, you knew what your best skill set was, right? When you played. And then obviously guys have, like, lots of scorers coming out of junior sometimes have to adapt to stay in the NHL and become a little bit better of a checker, right? But your offensive instincts rarely change.
For sure. And I think part of the problem is it's so hard to find those centermen, in the sense that, you know, like all those scorers coming up through junior and stuff are generally centermen, because it means that they have the puck on their stick, you know, for the most part when they're on the ice. But as you get into the higher leagues and you start playing against grown men, like you're not going into a corner and getting lucky that there's a 16 or 17-year-old defenseman in there. Like the game gets harder. There's a reason why so many of those players get pushed to the wing. Like they don't have, you know, the mentality of, you know, I need to be so solid in my own end. Like they get too hung up on the offensive side of it. That's why you get pushed out to wing, or you don't have the size to make it work. Like I got pushed to the wing because once I got up to the pro levels, like my 175-pound frame trying to push on someone that's 220 in a corner just wasn't working.
Right.
So now I get pushed to the wing. Well, there's another center spot open. Like someone has to fill it. Like it takes a lot of work to be a centerman in this league.
Oh God. Yeah. Like there's at times, like I think Nugent Hopkins at this stage of his career is better as a winger because it's just less taxing physically.
100%. Like he is able to push out to the wing, and all of a sudden now, like he's got call it an extra 15% of energy per shift because he's not battling down low. Like he's played a lot of hockey. He's been in the league a long time. If you can make that a little easier on yourself and still be able to let your offensive side showcase and have that, well, now you've just opened up more positions that you can play. Like he can jump back into the center if he needs it, but for the most part, it is easier for him on the wing, and it allows him to really show his best attributes to help his line mates along.
Lastly, kind of a fun question for you. You look the four nations were getting closer, and you look at Canada's defense and forwards, and there's some positions that are locked in, no question. But when those lines, would you play McKinnon and McDavid, or is it just too dominant? Or is it better to have them on separate lines, because now you can just roll one line after the other, and you got two, well, in that tournament, probably the two best centers.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's no different than what the Oilers are trying to do. Like they try and keep their best players split up so that they can have more depth. You know, now we're talking Team Canada. They have depth. It's not an issue, but at the same time, like if you can give, your 1A, and it's hard to say 1B, but your 1AA at that point, like more depth through the middle there, like you're just extending your power through the lineup. And then if you need to put them back together for a shift here or there, could you imagine the nightmare of those two at full speed coming at any defense pairing? Like that's nightmare fuel.
Oh God. Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine it. At some point you just got to lay down your stick and say, just go, just see if our goalie can figure this out.
Yeah. Like that's why I still take Canada over the US. I like Team USA, but I think they've got a lot of smaller defensemen. And I think that's going to be the advantage for Canada. When you get into best on best and everybody's equal, and you just talked about Atlanta, when you're a $180 or $190 and the other guy's 210 and you're evenly skilled, physics gives an advantage to 210.
Yeah, like at a certain point, it doesn't matter how skilled or how hard you try all these things. Like at some point, the bigger guy doing the same thing is just better. Yeah. Like he takes up more space. He's harder to play against. It's easier for him to hold on to pucks. Like everything gets harder. Like the small guy has to work so much harder to get the same done.
Yeah. Yeah, well said. Awesome stuff, Landon. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll be tuning in the pregame with you and Walks. Appreciate it.
All right, have a good one.
There you go. That's Landon Ferraro. Good rundown as the Oilers take on the Nashville Predators. I like his description, just like the advantage at center for Edmonton tonight. I think that's been a huge reason why they've dominated this series as of late. They have a massive advantage down the middle. It's massive. And Nashville just can't match it. And we've seen it. And so I know everybody says, well, it's going to slow down. But is it? If they continue, and here's the other thing. UC Saros, keep this in your back pocket, Oilers fans. UC Saros has faced the third most high danger chances in the NHL so far this season. That's not, I don't care how good a goalie is. You're facing that many high danger chances, eventually the opposition scoring. It's just how it is. So, and Edmonton's been pretty good at creating high danger chances. So I won't be surprised if Edmonton is going to get a lot of good looks. Just a matter of do they bury him? And with Saros being a little bit on the smaller side, upstairs, definitely wouldn't hurt. 242, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. We get lots more on the Oilers. We got Evan Bouchard coming up a little bit later on, Hal Gill, Derek Taylor, Livingston, also Dalton Wasserman, some NFL news and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Truck? Want a great deal on a truck? Get into Wolf GMC Buick. It's GMC's Canada-wide clearance. Take advantage of 0% financing on Sierra half-tons. Oh, and guess what? GMC employee pricing is back on all in-stock 2024 Sierra HDs and Yukons. That means thousands of dollars in savings on GMC Sierra 3/4 ton and 1 ton. Also thousands off the industry-leading SUV, the GMC Yukon. Get to Wolf GMC Buick now and drive away with money off and a smile on. Just off the Anthony Henday.
Your furnace is dead. It's time to replace it before winter crushes you. Legacy Heating and Cooling is practically there already.
Yeah, we're working in your basement. Doing a replacement. The work is so earnestly building your legacy.
With no payments and no interest for 1 year, you gotta call Legacy. Replacing your dying furnace before it's too late, that's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
At Papa John's, better is our specialty. Try our butter chicken pizza, the meats, the works, garden fresh, and more. Each special in its own way, just like you. With that ooey, gooey, crispy, crunchy taste, fresh, never frozen dough, and quality topping. Special has never tasted better. And so, for a limited time, get any large specialty pizza for just $17.99 with promo code LG1799 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Papa John's.
Ain't it beautiful? What does excellence mean to you, and how does it impact your decisions? Friends, it's Carrie Dahl, and I know that at Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't an option, it's their everything. From customer satisfaction in sales, service, inventory, and retention, they excel in all. Congratulations, Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners.
Volvo of Edmonton.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions, assemble.
Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting.
Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows. Locally manufactured and installed, Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
2:46. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. It is game day. Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Sports1440.ca. Maybe you're watching on X or Instagram, wherever you are consuming the show, whether it's audio, visual. We love it. Thanks so much for joining us. As always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where the Connor McDavid to score a goal tonight. And Leon, actually, how about this? Leon Draisaitl has 23 goals in his last 16 games against the Preds. You still get better odds for him to score a goal than McDavid tonight. That's unreal. Unreal. So, I'm on Draisaitl. Plus 258. Whew. David's plus 250. So, still pretty close. Now, let's talk a little football. And the football report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home with the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter. LegacyHeating.ca is Dalton Wasserman from Pro Football Focus joins us once again. Dalton, I'm going to start with maybe a little bit of a curveball for you, but it just came down that Harrison Butker is out for 3 to 4 weeks for the Kansas City Chiefs. So obviously very good field goal kicker. With him out, do you think this would lead to the Chiefs potentially gambling more on fourth down rather than kick a long field goal attempt?
It might, depending. I mean, Buffalo can be a tough place to kick sometimes. Not sure what the weather looks like on Sunday, but maybe in those very, very borderline spots where, Butker, they might be comfortable with him kicking from 57, 58 yards. But I don't think, when you think about the process that coaches and teams go through nowadays, I don't know that it would make a huge difference in that decision more than usual. If you're talking about 4th and 2 or 4th and 3 with Patrick Mahomes, they were most likely going for it anyway.
A rare weekend in the NFL for Week 11. You've got 3 games where all the teams going head-to-head to have at least 7 wins. And so let's start with the Thursday nighter. Washington 7-3 against the Eagles 7-2. A lot of people expected the Eagles to be good. They started off, Sirianni made some coaching decisions at times that irritated their fan base, what have you, but they're 7-2. And Washington has been a great surprise at 7-3 with their young quarterback. What do you make of tonight's matchup? And if you're the Eagles, what are you doing defensively against Daniels?
So I think there's a couple of things. I'm going to stay on the Philadelphia side here. I think this is actually, it sounds funny, I think it's kind of prove it time for the Eagles. Okay, we've seen them beat up on some softer opponents, right? The Giants, the Cowboys, I think it's the Browns and the Bengals, but let's see them do it against an opponent like Washington, who I think at this point we can say is legitimately good, right? Their 2 losses recently are both, pretty close 1-score games to Baltimore and to Pittsburgh. And I think Pittsburgh just made one more play than they did last week. I think the Eagles now, if this has all really come together and this defense is better and Jalen Hurts has found his rhythm, he's not giving the ball away. Let's see it happen in a primetime spot in a big game for first place, right? And I think as far as the defense goes, I would want to see how much of the Steelers' game plan from last week that Vic Fangio goes and kind of copycats, because I think the Steelers, they used the 5-man defensive front up front on their defensive line. They kept Daniels from running the ball. He only had 3 carries for 5 yards in that game. And they were going to make Washington beat them with Daniels handing the ball off to his backs in the backfield. And they were going to make him throw from the pocket. Now, did Washington still score 27 points? Yeah, but at least kept them out of those explosive plays. So I think I'm just curious to see if the Eagles can take the same approach that the Steelers did last week.
Yeah. Hey, what about those Pittsburgh Steelers, man? There's lots of people that thought that it wouldn't be a playoff team this season. And here they are again, competing for the division title. That is an organization that is just consistently consistent.
Yeah, I think more than anything, the Steelers know who they are, probably better than any team in football. They know they want to win most weeks with their defense. And I think to an extent they still did that last week, but that's a tough offense they were playing. But they want to win with their defense. They want to run the football as much as they can. And even though they've got some offensive line injuries, they're still going to do it. And they want to, with Russell Wilson, they knew what they wanted to do with him when he came in for Justin Fields, and that was throw the ball downfield. Right now, he's one of the best deep passers in the NFL. He's got one of the best deep receivers in the NFL in George Pickens. Mike Williams, you saw the winning touchdown last week. That might be a big factor moving forward as he gets more playing time. I think they've just understood the entire time, whether it was with Fields playing or with Wilson playing, and obviously with the constant of their great defense, who they want to be. And no matter what, You can't take the Steelers out of their identity, and that defense controls the game for them, and it gives their offenses chance to succeed.
Two other matchups. Speaking of, let's stick with the Steelers taking on the Ravens. That's been a huge rivalry for a long time. And the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, a lot of people have him as maybe the favorite for the MVP. If you're the Steelers defense, how do you approach this game when you have him passing, then you got Derrick Henry who can run all over you?
I think you approach it the same way you did last week. I think Derrick Henry, yes, he's fantastic, but I think you would much rather just play that physical, slowed down game if you're Pittsburgh, like you did last week with Washington. You know what? Make Henry beat you, make him run through that tough defensive line, that tough front seven, right? I think you're talking about Lamar Jackson. If he breaks the pocket, if he can do all of the Lamar Jackson things, then you really stand no chance. But I think it's going to be a very similar game plan to what we saw against the Commanders. Keep him in the pocket, make him beat you with his arm. And he's been beating most teams with his arm this year, so I'm not even going to guarantee that it's going to work. But I think the Steelers do have the defensive front to be physical with the Ravens, and they're going to make them play in the box.
Yeah. Now, what about the Chiefs and the Bills? The Chiefs just find ways to win games. Heck, we'll win with the late field goal or good defensive stand. We'll just mix in a blocked field goal to win a game. and Dan Orlovsky did a great job breaking down how that was not just a lucky one. They kept getting closer every time, really focusing in on the left guard and the setup on the field goal. But you look at the Bills, and obviously if they have any chance of catching KC, they got to win this game. But are you one to buy in, Dalton, that there's, you can send a message to not only the opposition, but maybe more so for your team to say, hey, we can play with this team. And maybe that's why there's more on the line here for Buffalo than the Chiefs.
I don't think there's any question that the Bills can play with the Chiefs. They've done it in the past. I think in the regular season, Josh Allen is actually 3-1 against Patrick Mahomes. I don't think there's any question about whether they can play with them or play close with them. It's just about in big moments, and that's what it comes down to with the Chiefs. You just mentioned it. The Chiefs win all of the big moments all of the time, right? The blocked field goal last week, overtime and late in the game against the Bucs the week before. I mean, they win moments, but I think the big thing for the Bills, I think they're actually this year more similar to the Chiefs than we think, because the one thing these two offenses don't do, they don't go backwards, right? These are two of the four best teams in the league right now at avoiding negative plays on offense. But I think, as usual, it's going to be a tight game. It's going to come down to who makes the biggest mistake in the big moment. So I think the Bills, there's no question they can play with Kansas City. I don't have any question about that. You could see the injuries on the outside, say to Amari Cooper and Keon Coleman, be a factor in this game with those guys not playing, and Dalton Kincaid may not play either. But I don't think there's any question it should be a close game.
You look at, what do you make of the decision Dowdle is going to be the starting running back now in Dallas? Does it matter?
No, it doesn't. Dallas is done. I mean, they don't have Dak Prescott. They were already just about done with Dak Prescott in there. And I mean, it's just where we're at with Dallas. Is these are the types of storylines we have to come up with to make us believe they still have a pulse. No, they're between the way their defense has played all year and what they have going on at quarterback now, there's not really a whole lot to talk about as far as the last 7 games of this season for them. There are some interesting matchups because a lot of bad teams, Raiders versus the Dolphins, although the Dolphins probably should maybe be better. They lost their quarterback. You look at the Browns and the Saints, you look at, Colts and the Jets. Well, what do you when you look at those teams, like the Jets, obviously there's so much hype about the Jets. Like they were, I think, maybe one of the most people picked them to come back to the playoffs this year. And they're 3-7. So unless they win out, it looks like they're going to have another losing season in New York. Is Aaron Rodgers, how much is this is Aaron Rodgers? How much of this is play calling? What do you make of the Jets and just their inability to win games? Yeah, there's a lot of different factors here. I mean, first of all, I think it is a coaching issue when you talk about the regime with Saleh and Hackett that was there, and even now, there's just they don't do much of anything when it comes to being any sort of complex or diverse on either side of the ball from a coaching side. They really the biggest drop off has been their defensive line. They just completely. This defensive line, for several reasons, got ripped apart. Jermaine Johnson tore his Achilles. You've got John Franklin Myers that they let go and tried to replace him with Hassan Reddick, who didn't play till a couple of weeks ago. You've got some guys who've regressed. Even Quinnen Williams is not having a great year. the defensive line is setting back the whole defense and really setting back the entire team. And, is there a little bit of blame to go on Rodgers? Yeah, there's been a couple of games where he hasn't been great, but he really hasn't been their worst offensive player. I know everyone wants to get on him, but to me, the regression on defense has been the biggest problem, and their lack of offensive diversity and just in things that they do on offense. It's been a problem all the way around, and yeah, it's been a disaster of a season for them.
The Detroit Lions, are you expecting them to absolutely manhandle? Like the spread's 13.5. Would you still take the Lions minus 13.5 points?
I probably would, with Mac Jones playing again this week in Jacksonville, and they only scored 7 points against Minnesota last week. I don't really see how Detroit has any obstacle with that team. It's a defense in Jacksonville that struggled all season, and Mac Jones, he can't push the ball down the field, and that's another team, honestly, I'm not sure week to week what their offensive plan is. I totally get why the spread is that far, because there's plenty of people who think the Lions are the best team in football, and Jacksonville right now, especially with Jones at quarterback, is certainly among the worst.
What do you make of the Chiefs? Are they just a team that consistently knows how to win, or are they a team that's like, you know what, hey, we're playing well enough to win. We don't need to do much more. Obviously, injuries have played a factor. Like, are they the best team in your eyes? And how close do you think it is in the AFC between them and everybody else?
No, I think the Chiefs, until further notice, until they get knocked out, I have to consider the Chiefs the best team and the number one contender to win the Super Bowl, because we know it's coming. How many years did we do this with New England where, we think this is the year they fall off and they're playing close games and and then you get to the end and they're the 1 seed and they're rolling through the playoffs and they're going to the Super Bowl, right? So I think, look, you have Patrick Mahomes, you have the best coaches in football with Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo, you have a top 5 or 6 defense, you pick up DeAndre Hopkins and he's fit like a glove, and they're getting Travis Kelce going now. I think the Chiefs know, look, lock up the number 1 seed, start playing your best football in January and get it rolling. Until somebody knocks them off, I know there's a lot of argument, over on the NFC side with the Lions and the way they're playing, but we have to wait and see if they both get all the way, and we see head-to-head how that goes. But for now, how could you not still consider the Chiefs the best team?
Yeah, it's hard to argue that. Dalton, thanks so much, man. We appreciate it. Enjoy the weekend.
Appreciate it as always, Jason. Thank you.
It's Dalton Wasserman. If you're an NFL fan, tonight's Thursday nighter, man. That's a hell of a game. Eagles and Washington. Whew. Now, I know many of you are going to be watching our game, and rightfully so. But you might be channel surfing during intermission, maybe. We'll see. 2:58. We'll get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. The Canada-wide clearance is on now at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on a 2024 Sierra $1,500 crew cab elevation. See more at gmcoffers.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Connor McDavid's pursuit of 1,000 points continues tonight as the Oilers host the Preds. Puck drop just after 7 o'clock. Of course, McDavid sitting at 999. We've got pregame coverage for you with Andrew Walker and myself getting going at 6 right here on Sports 1440. Elsewhere on the NHL, Flyers take on the Sens. Lightning host the Jets. The Devils battle the Panthers. Rangers host the Sharks. Blues traveling to Buffalo. Wild host the Habs. The Kraken taking on the Blackhawks. And the Islanders in Vancouver to take on the Canucks. Week 11 in the NFL season kicks off tonight in a battle of the top 2 teams in the NFC East. The 7-2 Eagles hosting the 7-3 Commanders. That gets going at 6:15 off the field. Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker, he's expected to miss 3 to 4 weeks and likely headed to the injured reserve with a left knee injury from the majors. The Tampa Bay Rays will play their 2025 home games at the New York Yankees nearby spring training ballpark amid uncertainty about the future of the hurricane-damaged Tropicana Field. Stadium holds about 11,000 seats, the largest of these spring training facilities in Florida. And in the association tonight, just 1 game on the schedule. The Mavericks head to Utah to take on the Jazz. That'll start at 7 o'clock. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by the voice of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Derek Taylor, and we'll speed things up in the Cantorp Racing Report with Colin Livingston. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Mr. Rooter plays a video game.
This is wonderful. A world where a plumber is the hero. My hat is off to you, Mario. Although I personally advise against eating any mushrooms found in a drain pipe. I won't make that mistake twice. All I've got to do now is hop over this Goomba and save the princess. What? No way. I pressed jump. I pressed jump.
For a super plumber with an all-time high score, call Mr. Rooter.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Michelle and Colette are sisters. Sisters who don't agree on much, especially when it comes to which hockey team is the best.
Edmonton is the best, baby. Vancouver's number one.
Even when it comes to meat snacks from Wilhawks.
I love the Harris Schwiener. The ham sausage rules.
But they will agree.
Wilhawk beef jerky is the best.
It might just be the only thing Alberta hockey fans can agree on.
Others can try to imitate, but no one can duplicate Wilhawk beef jerky. Only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win friends with salad.
Need a truck? Want a great deal on a truck? Get into Wolf GMC Buick. It's GMC's Canada-wide clearance. Take advantage of 0% financing on Sierra half-tons. Oh, and guess what? GMC employee pricing is back on all in-stock 2024 Sierra HDs and Yukons. That means thousands of dollars in savings on GMC Sierra 3/4 ton and 1 ton. Also thousands off the industry-leading SUV, the GMC Yukon. Get to Wolf GMC Buick now and drive away with money off and a smile on. Just off the Anthony Henday.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions, take one for Gene Principe. Are you ready, Gene?
Ready? I'm not just here to make a thermo a couple of bucks. I'd never just microphone it in.
Take one.
Tall legacy, tall legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for furnace season.
What's not to love with no interest and no principal payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep, unlike a furnace, I have no filter.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply. Before every big interview, every big presentation, every big moment, I've always looked in the mirror and put on my game face. But lately, my eyes look tired, my brow looks old, and I'm starting to think it's game over.
Stop thinking and start seeing me, Dr. Vance Elliott, for skin refreshing treatments designed to give you a fresh and natural appearance.
He didn't make me look weird. No, he gave me back my game face.
Book your consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
In the digital realm, our kids face threats, but we have the power to guard their innocence. Visit protectchildren.ca, a national charity teaching parents and kids how to stay safe online. Empower their curiosity, not their fears. Visit protectchildren.ca.
Tim's Holiday Smile Cookie is back. From November 18th to 24th, get one to give back to your community. 100% of proceeds are donated to local charities, community groups, and Tim Hortons Foundation camps at participating restaurants in Canada.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. The team in Old Strathcona have special training dedicated to reduce the impact of cancer care before, during, and after your diagnosis. From lymphedema to the management of fatigue and side effects of chemotherapy and radiation, they can help. Learn more at leadingedgephysio.com.
He's Alberta's sports authority and lead touchdown winner of his family's backyard flag football games. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 3 o'clock. Welcome back. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook and X, as of course it is game day as the Edmonton Oilers hosting the Nashville Predators tonight. And the Preds, They haven't had a lot of success against the Oilers lately. They definitely haven't had much success slowing down McDavid or Draisaitl. So what are they? 13-1-2 in the last 16 games. And in those 16 games, Leon Draisaitl has 23 goals and 37 points. Not bad at all. And that Connor McDavid kid, who will go for 1,000 tonight, in his last 19 games versus the Preds, he has 39 points. McDavid and Draisaitl have absolutely feasted on the Predators. The 23 goals in 16 games, like, it's such a ridiculous stat for Leon Draisaitl. It's like UC Saros is one of the best goalies in the NHL. Draisaitl's just lighting him up game after game. And you know what? If until it's, you know, we just heard from, until someone beats the Chiefs, until Nashville shows they can slow down McDavid and Draisaitl for more than one game, because he did go a game where he didn't have a point. It happens. But then Draisaitl scored 4 the next game. So I think until anyone can show that they can actually slow down McDavid and Draisaitl in Nashville, it's hard not to pick the Edmonton Oilers to win this game tonight. I don't see how you would look at it and think any other option. I just don't. And then you add in the extra excitement level that will come from Connor McDavid chasing 1,000. There's lots of excitement around the rink and the team, and we'll get to Knobloch and Nugent Hopkins, and even got some thoughts from Evan Bouchard. I talked to Evan Bouchard, actually. I did a one-on-one, and we'll play that a little bit later on in the show. And I asked him about the significant increase for him in shots blocked this year. Right, he's had a lot more of his shots blocked, so we talked about that, because you know what? That's really not his MO. He's been pretty good at getting shots through. So he admitted that it's an issue, and definitely something that he's been working on and wants to start seeing a reduction in that number. But the big news, I think, and for fun, is so I'm going to go over some stats for you. The 1,000-point stats. So anybody who's listening to the show knows I like to do some research and look up different things. So spoke to Paul Coffey today. He's the 15th fastest player to 1,000 points. And of course, he's the only defenseman on that list. Gretzky was the quickest at 424. Lemieux, 513. Bossy, 656. McDavid, I think, will get it tonight. That'll be 659. Peter Stastny, still underrated player from the 80s, man. Second highest scoring player in that decade behind Gretzky. He was a hell of a player. Yari Curry, 716. Guy Lafleur, 720. Brian Trottier, 726. Denny Savard, 727. Steve Yzerman, 737. Marcel Dion, 740. Phil Esposito, 745. Sidney Crosby, 757. He's the only other active player in the top 15. And when McDavid scores a point tonight, that'll mean it was 98 more games for Crosby to reach 1,000 points. Now, I get that he had some injuries, but that's kind of irrelevant to it, because when he played in those years, he was unreal. Unfortunately, you know what? Didn't get to play a lot. But it's pretty remarkable how, like, Nathan McKinnon right now, killing it. He'll get there this season. He needs, I think, I can't even remember what the number is, 70 points, something like that, 72, to get to 900. So he'll do it this year, no question. But when he does, he's still going to be like around on the pace he's at, like 190 points more play, 190 more games played than McDavid to reach 1,000 points. So, like, guys, and that's like, you get hot and you have a great 7 or 8 year run compared to a guy from day one came in the league and was being a point a game player. McKinnon wasn't a point a game player for his first 4 years, and then he exploded. Went from a 53-point guy to a 99-point player, and has been really good since. Really good. And he's off to another fantastic start. But, like, look at Evgeny Malkin, great, 848. Ovechkin, 880. You're talking 200 games quicker than a lot of those guys. It's nuts. So, the other thing to keep a note, if you're going to the game or watching the game, the superstars, when a milestone is there, they get excited. Gretzky, when he was going for 1,000, he needed 1. He got 6 points on December 19th. Maybe you were at the game. It was in Edmonton, 1984. A little early Christmas present for Oilers fans. 6-point night. Mike Bossy, when he got to his 1,000-point, 4-point game. Mario Lemieux, 3-point game. Then the other two Oilers to do it, Mark Messier, Yari Curry. Curry in 1990 in January, Messier in January of 91. Both 3-point games. All victories, by the way. Of course, Gretzky had 6. They beat LA 7-2. Curry had 3 points. They win their game of 6-4. Messier, they won 5-3. And then even Connor McDavid himself. Now, 1,000 points is regarded a little bit different than 100 or 600 or 800. But every game that McDavid has played, when he is chasing the milestone that ends in a 0, 100, 200, 300, all the way up to 900, he's at least a multi-point game. Every time, 9 for 9. Last year, which was in January against the Flyers, maybe you were at that game, McDavid had 5 points. They defeated the Flyers 5-2, and that pushed him from 898 points to 903. So there's a little extra pep in his step, man. He wants it. You know his teammates want. I think the Oilers are going to come out flying tonight. Flying. And Nashville's going to have to be ready for it. So tonight, the Nashville might be the prey instead of the Predators, looking at how this game is. The other thing, when McDavid does it tonight, that will make Edmonton the 6th NHL franchise to have 4 1,000-point scorers. Boston, Chicago, Detroit, LA, and Pittsburgh have 4. Now, Brad Marchand needs 58 points to become the 5th Bruin. So he'll probably do that. If it's not this year, it'll be next year for sure. And Leon Draisaitl is 130 points shy right today. Now, I guess there's a chance if you think he can get 150 points that he could do it this season. Fairly low. But pretty good chance, really good chance, bar an injury, that he does it next year. So then both Boston and Edmonton will be the only two teams with 5 players to have scored 1,000 points for their franchise. I mentioned it earlier, McDavid has a 14-game point streak going against the Preds. It's not actually his longest active point streak. He's got 15-gamer against the New Jersey Devils. Difference is McDavid has absolutely been crushing the Preds in that one. He's got way more points against them. Did you know he has 340 goals in his career? Leon Draisaitl, no surprise, assisted on the most at 134. Nugent Hopkins on 50. Tyson Barrie, 35. Nurse, 34. Bouchard and Hyman, 24. Klefbom, 21. So not a surprise when you look at, defensemen, Klefbom, Barrie, Nurse, Bouchard. For a few reasons. A, they play the power play. But B, sometimes as a D-man, you get that puck up to McDavid in motion and boom, it ends up in the back of the net. So make a good outlet pass. Bingo. McDavid scores off the rush. Pretty big advantage. His 659 assists to date, 55 different teammates have scored a goal that McDavid assisted on. No surprise, Leon Draisaitl has the most, 192. Nugent Hopkins and Hyman, 71 and 67 respectively. So if you crunch those numbers together, that's, what is that? 259, 260. It's like 330 goals from those three, which means there's 329 for the rest of the players. So a lot of the goals, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, Hyman. And then Pat Maroon is still currently 4th, 23 goals that McDavid assisted on. Puljujarvi, 22, Cassian, 20. And then Kane, Nurse, and Bouchard all at 19. So pretty good chance that those guys could get into the top 4 at some point. But there's some great names on the list. Connor, did you have a chance to look up the list?
Yes, you're talking goals assisted by McDavid?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw it up on the social media platforms. V2 is the one that stands out. Like, it's just kind of a name from Oilers past that you've definitely not really remembering. I think we posted on the 1440 Facebook page, and someone said, "Who's that?" Like, they didn't actually know who he was. So that one is going to be one for me that will always stand out. Cool to see guys, the guys that we really like, the Chase on, the Oscar Clefbaum, players like that. I think that's kind of cool. Just the guys that he's had a little bit of an impact on. And for the guys like a Josh Curry or a Ryan Strome, a Slater Cuckoo, pretty cool to say, yeah, he hooked me up with the goal once. Like just have that there, Anton Slepyshev, like pretty cool. Even Nail Yakupov, a great name.
You saw Scotty Upshaw, who played in the league for a long time. Of course, is good Alberta guy. He was a huge Order fan. He's like, I had to give my left nut to be on that list. Right, like, guy, just the opportunity. It means you played with McDavid, one of the greatest players, and you'll be in the record books as scoring a goal that he assisted on. You know what? You'll probably remember it. Guarantee if someone asks, hey, Johan, remember that goal McDavid assisted on? Like, guarantee, because it was only one. Right? Like, there's lots of guys. Mike Camilleri, Jujar Kara, Phil Broberg, Dominic Cahoon, Eero Pakarinen, Colton Sevier, Brett Kulak, Johan Ovitu, Jeff Skinner, Duncan Key, Tyler Ennis, Adam Henrique, Derek Ryan, Ryan Strome, Josh Curry, Slater Cuckoo, Andreas Athanasiou, all with one goal that McDavid's assisted on. It's funny, Brandon Manning, 2 goals, both assisted by Connor McDavid. So, didn't have a long career, but scored 2 goals McDavid assisted on. That is something fairly memorable for him too, I would think. So yeah, it's a pretty long list. You can check it out. It's on my the Jason Gregor Show Facebook page, also on my social medias as well. Got some help with some of my guy Stuart to dig all those numbers up. So I appreciate it, Stu. Thank you very much. And it's something to look back, like when his career's over, how many different guys will have been, and who is going is. So here's the easy question I'm going to ask the listeners today. Does McDavid score a goal for 0.1000 or is an assist for 0.1000? If it's an assist, who is it on? 833-401-1440. Text us in our email inbox. 833-401-1440. Does McDavid score a goal? Is it an assist? And if an assist, who? Curious who it'll be, because now the easy guess, we all know who the easy guess is. 29. And keep in mind, Arvidsson is not playing tonight. The Oilers are going to go 11-7. So you're going to see McDavid. I'm Chris Knobloch. God, like any good, I think, minor hockey coach, if you're in a situation where, maybe one of your forwards are missing, and most teams you're on, you have a best player. I don't care what level you're at, there's usually a best player. And everybody on the team knows who the best player is, for the most part. And if you can rotate that guy around and play with different players at times, kids love it. NHL players love it. Every guy will be like, "Ooh, I'm getting a shift with McDavid." Like, what if you're Pod Colson and you scored the goal? It would be your first goal as an Oiler. You'd be the 56th player to score a goal that McDavid assists on. Not bad. So, guys, where's Kucherov on the 1,000 point list? Well, he currently is at 896 points. He's got an outside chance. If you look at Kucherov, would we be shocked if he finished the season with, what has he got now? 26 points already? No, 23. So he would need 104 points. That means he'd finish with 127. He's had a 128-point season. Last year, he had 144. He's on pace right now. If I'm doing the math in my head, he's 70 games would put him at 115. Yeah, he'd be really close. He's right on pace to that. Now, he has to stay on that pace, which is hard. So if he doesn't do it this year, he'll do it next year. Nathan McKinnon's going to do it this year. Kucherov, maybe this year. Brad Marchand has an outside chance. He needs 58 points to do it this season, and which would give him 71 on the year. He had 67 points each of the last 2 seasons. So he'd have to have a little bit of an uptick. But after a slow start, Marchand's offense has started to come around. And who knows? Playing in that Four Nations Cup, you know what? It could really boost some guys. 833-401-1440. Brad is going Skinner, the goal from McDavid. Hyman scoring from Farmer Brian. Scotty's going with Ekholm. Janmark from Chris. Ooh, a little bit off the board. Guys, Nugent Hopkins on the power play from Mike. Guys, McDavid get an assist on Hyman's goal. A lot of people are guessing Hyman. Not a bad guess. Not a bad guess at all. Let's take a quick break. When we return, we're going to, hey, it is a big weekend. We'll talk hockey. The Oilers, by the way, after tonight, they fly out tomorrow. They're going to travel to Toronto. They play the Maple Leafs on Saturday. Then they got the Habs Monday, the Senators on Tuesday. And will Austin Matthews be back? He's missed 5 straight for the Leafs. Will he be back on Saturday? Who knows? We will talk about, hey, legacy is a big thing. You know, Leon Draisaitl talked about legendary. Well, I think both of those words will aptly describe our next topic. The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility. Available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine. You can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada with sports and entertainment properties including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
I take possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Projects team reporting. We design, build, and construct all the electrical systems for your projects. Need everything to work right? Get the Action Electrical project team on your site.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Get early access to real Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Save up to 65% off select sofas when you buy the matching Love Seater chair. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Plus, save up to $700 off a big screen TV. And get free shipping on TVs over 50 inches. Find 40% off mattresses and next day delivery on in-stock beds. Plus, save 3 times the tax when you buy 2 or more Samsung major kitchen appliances. Find a lower price before the end of the year, and The Brick will refund the difference. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details.
You've heard people say dream big and think about your future. Well, at GS Construction, we live by those words every day. You see, GS Construction lays pipes in the underground systems in your area. So we don't just think about today. We think about tomorrow and the future of Edmonton's communities and neighborhoods, the places we call home and the places we will call home. We're there when new neighborhoods are developed and return when it's time to replace them. For more on what we do, go to gsconstruction.ca.
Weather forecast? Ugh. Savings forecast? Cha-ching. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 at Fountain Tire until December 14th. Restrictions apply. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Danny's share, $28,874. Kevin's share, $5,663. Maven and Dave's share, $20,885. Dawn and Kathy's share, $5,121. Sean and Michelle's share, $4,000.
Each year, Vision Credit Union returns about 75% of our profits to our members. It's time you got your share. Find out how right now at whatsyourshare.ca. That's whatsyourshare.ca.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around. Serving all of Alberta, DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. Perfect for tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
Portions of this hour brought to you by eWell. eWell.ca is your power play partner with a new website that puts the power in your hands with 24/7 ordering and shipping within Edmonton and across Alberta. Score an account today at ewell.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Man, I love this tune. Weekend. You know what? Hey, thinking of football, he was quite the performer. Remember when he was going through the maze on the mirror? Oh, that was unbelievable, eh, Cons? Oh, that was a class. That was a great meme for a while. That was on social media. But man, that dude can sing, man. Good Canadian. I like it. I like it a lot. So it's fun. Oilers, speaking of a Canadian, the best Canadian player in the NHL. Will get his 1,000th point tonight. Yes, I said it. I don't believe in jinxing. People, Gregor, you can't jinx it. Leon Draisaitl said it after the game on Tuesday. Okay, what is said now, what is said then, has no bearing on what happens tonight. Sort of disappoint you. Because if it did, then I would call for 6 goals every night, a few fights, some big hits. It'd be amazing. But it doesn't happen. Unfortunately. That'd be quite the power if you had it. You have to be careful. Mixing the odd shutout just because. Well, doesn't work that way. Let's talk about the big national party that is coming up on Sunday. Many of you will be watching because it is the Bombers' 5th appearance in a row at the Grey Cup. They're taking on Toronto. The Bombers are heavy favorites, as they should be, to win their 3rd in 5 years. 5 consecutive trips, and if they win, I think it's fair to call them a dynasty. I really do. 5 consecutive trips. Now, if you lose, I'm sorry, then you're the Bills, so that's not good. But you win, I think you can put them in the dynasty category. As we are joined by a gentleman who covers the CFL very well, the voice on CJOB of the Bombers, Derek Taylor, joins us. DT, how you doing?
Good. I love hearing the D word getting dropped. It is not coming out of my mouth because that's going to be a conversation that starts to happen if the Bombers do win on Sunday.
Well, I think it's totally valid to say that, like, you go there 5 in a row, you win 3 out of 5. That's pretty impressive. The 2 you lost, by a total of 4 points. Or 5, sorry, 1 by 4, 1 by 1. So, you know what? The Bombers have been really good. Now, they got off to a slow start, but since that, it was almost like they said, okay, now we'll get rolling. And that's what they're doing. And man, Derek, I know there's no guarantees in sports, but it's too bad Chad Kelly went down because I think it might have been a closer game. I just look at this matchup now, and God love Nick Arbuckle, but I think that would be an unbelievable Cinderella story for him to actually win that game. Yeah,
and it's what just about any CFL team would be going through, right? If the Bombers lost their starting quarterback, they'd be in a worse spot, honestly, than the Argos are currently. Like Arbuckle, he's got 24 games of experience, but he's not Chad Kelly on the field, right? No. Kelly will rip the ball down the field. Kelly's a great scrambler and keeping the play alive, and he can do so many things at quarterback that are so valuable. Arbuckle is more conservative, shorter depth of target. I feel like it's going to be don't make big mistakes will be how they approach this one on offense, and let's trust in our defense. But yeah, it's just we get robbed of it. But that's so much of who wins in sports, right? Is who's actually able to be healthy at the time. And the Bombers had all their injury troubles early on, and now they're ready to go.
Derek, any injuries at all of note heading into the Grey Cup?
The one to watch, none of the guys who are injured are going to be coming back. So the Big Hills, the Dalton Schoens, those guys remain out for the year. Nick Dembski did tweak his ankle in the Western Final last Saturday. He came off for a couple plays, got it taped back up, and went back out. I was asking him, yesterday, which body parts would he cut off in order to win a Grey Cup, and he's like, yeah, there's a few that I would get rid of. So there's no question that he is going to play. And when you saw a guy like Dalton Schoen play last year with his injury and fight through it and have a decent game, you go, yeah, these guys, they all get it's the fifth in a row. You're not going to get here every year for the rest of your life. So, strike while the iron is hot. So I don't believe there's going to be any injury troubles. And I don't know, maybe one or two roster changes, maybe for the game to put guys back in. But yeah, the Bombers come in a fantastic spot.
Yeah, they're healthy. Obviously, the big injury is Toronto. Now we're coming up to the player awards tonight. Derek, who is Bo Levi's winning the MVP, isn't he?
That's one that I hope every other voter really struggled with the way I do, because I'm not the biggest QB wins guy, but a quarterback in Bo Levi Mitchell who 5,400 yards, 30 touchdowns, got benched by his team mid-season, and only when Chris Jones came in did they go, yeah, you know what, you're a variant style. We can deal with this. We get back in there, and played some great games. Some of the losses early on, was Tim White dropping a football that gave Saskatchewan the game-winning field goal, and you go, well, okay, that sure ain't on Bo. I really struggled with this, watching firsthand how important Brady Oliveira was to keeping the Bombers afloat when their passing offense was nowhere. So as I went back and forth and this and I ended up going with Brady Oliveira. I know a few other people who went with Brady Oliveira, the runner-up last year. I am super anxious / nervous to see, because I'm rooting for Brady, but Bo has a compelling case statistically, if not record-wise, to be the most outstanding player.
Yeah, I think Brady Oliveira is going to win the Canadian for sure.
That's shutout. Yeah.
Defensive player, Beverette out of Montreal. Nothing against Milligan Jr. I thought he had a really good season, no question, but Beverette had an outstanding year.
Yeah, honestly, either one of those guys, if that's not the closest vote, I'll be surprised. Beverette, like when you watched him fill up that stat column, you go, oh my gosh, look at all these plays he's making behind the line of scrimmage, and look at all these turnovers he's forcing. This is fantastic. Roland Milligan is a total stud at that boundary halfback spot. Like all the Sask fans who were making yard signs, Milligan for MOP. I get it. Like that guy's awesome, and he kicked in 20 tackles on special teams. He's really, really, really good. So I don't think there's a wrong choice in that. I'm with you in that I went Beverette ultimately after I went deep onto that one. But yeah, that one I think is probably the closest one we have tonight.
Not Canadian, but American linebacker for the Elks, Nick Anderson, is up for Rookie of the Year. Led them in the CFL in total tackles, tied for the league lead in tackles. Now, sometimes I'm like, well, tackles, I'm not sure that means, hey, maybe your team's getting ran on, you're getting crushed a lot. And, at times they were, but you had two guys on the same team that were that close. So it was almost like their system was built that, hey, you know what? We want our guys, our linebackers, to be the ones all around the ball. And they were. And Anderson, man, the more I watched him, the more impressed I was with him. I know he's going to try to go to the NFL. I'm just not sure it's a fit. If he was 3 inches taller, he'd probably be a no-brainer there. But do you give Bridges any chance to win Rookie of the Year?
I would, because he was impactful in that Hamilton receiving core. But you start missing games with injuries, and what you can contribute in 13 games, whatever Bridges' final number was, versus Nick Anderson over a full season. That one's going to be hard for Bridges. He didn't get to the magic number of 1,000, though he would have blown past that and been like the next great rookie receiver in the Canadian Football League. So I'm with you that the voters probably do go Anderson. Will linebacker is set up to make plays and accumulate stats, and Edmonton's defense was on the field a bunch, but not so much that it skewed his stats too terribly far. Like it wasn't 65 plays a game on the field. They were right in the middle of the league as far as the opponent offensive plays. So Anderson was really good, and ties to the Grey Cup. His emergence caused the Elks to release Tony Jones, and Tony Jones has been a total stud for the Bombers this year. So we'll be watching that one as well.
And lastly, at your round Grey Cup, there's always lots of chatter about what's going to happen. Ted Govea, I think the Elks, when it's over, would like to interview him potentially for their vacant GM job. He's been around a long time. Derek, give us the thoughts on Govea's maybe ready to be a GM in the CFL.
I think people league wide are wondering, why has nobody come to get Ted Govea and Danny McManus, the two guys who were kind of the guys responsible for bringing in American talent to the Bombers. Carrick Wheatfall, Pokey Wilson, guys that, are nobody the day before, but all of a sudden they're putting up 200-yard games and 1,000-yard seasons in the CFL. I think if Ted wants it, that would be a fantastic pick. Whatever he's clearly adding a ton and clearly understands. The Bombers have this unifying theory of these are the guys we want, and then Ted and Danny go find those guys. If Ted brings that unifying theory of we all know we're all on the same page, we're all pulling the same rope, let's go. I think that would be a fine pick. I think folks in Winnipeg super surprised that no one's made a move for him before. So we'll find out what Ted's priorities are, what he wants to do with his career. But yeah, I mean, if the Elks went that way, that would be an excellent pick. And I think Bomber fans would curse it all the way through.
And what about how's the free agent offseason look for Winnipeg? Lots of guys potentially leaving?
Well, I guess we'll find out. One hook is the Grey Cups in Winnipeg next year, and if they've been to 5 in a row. How much enticement is that to Dalton Schoen as a free agent? Kenny Lawler is a free agent. Oliveira, Kolarz, and Dembski are all under contract, so that's nice. But Stanley Bryant is free. Big defenders are free. Big Hill, Dietrich Nichols, Evan Holm, Tyrell Ford. So a lot of important pieces in that back six are free agents. I think if you're a Bomber fan, you're confident a lot of those guys are coming back because of 5 in a row, because of the Grey Cup on offense, because they get to work with Zach Kolarz. But until February 14th, they might be a little nervous because we did see a couple of big guys get away this past offseason.
Derek, what's your prediction in the big game on Sunday?
Low scoring, tighter than that spread at 9 feels bad to me when Winnipeg scored 25 total points against the Argos this season. So I've been throwing around like 20-12, like low scoring on both sides. The defense able to control Nick Arbuckle. I would love the offense to put up a quick 21, but this Argos front is for real. So if they can't solve that, we're going to be in for a tight one.
Awesome. Well, quickly, why have the Bombers been unable to score against Toronto?
Oh, just keeping guys off Zach Kolarz. Like in under 80 dropbacks, he's been sacked 12 times. Which,
what?
Yeah, it's nuts. That's 15% of his dropbacks against the Argos. He's been sacked. For the season, he's at about 6%. So It is a way higher rate.
Yeah.
So this Argos front is absolutely for real. Their back end is leaky, but that front with Serezna and Hawley and Brinkman and Arimolade is for real. And like I say, whether it's the matchup or it's just Toronto's front is great, it's been a real problem. So that's Buck Pierce, the offensive coordinator's biggest challenge on Sunday.
Man, that's a great stat, DT. Really appreciate it, man. Have yourself an awesome day.
Thank you for having me.
There you go. That's Derek. Taylor joining us, of course, the voice of the Bombers. Grey Cup Sunday, man. That's nachos. Cons, you got any special food you having for Grey Cup?
Chargers Bengals play Sunday night, Gregor.
What kind of pathetic loser are you?
I prefer the NFL over CFL, and I prefer the Chargers
it's
over
a championship game.
Yeah, I know. I stand by it. I'll still take NFL regular season over the Grey Cup.
Yeah, well, that's it.
But maybe some chili, maybe some nachos, definitely some pizza. Papa John's, code word Gregor.
It's true though.
Get the brownie.
Yeah, I'll get you some time. I'll get you some discounts for sure. Put in the code word before you order though.
What's your go-to Grey Cup meal?
Oh, we have nachos with lots of cheese, and then have half with chicken, half with hamburger.
Okay.
Right. Lots of guac. Also, we have this like this. We have a. Geez, I don't even know how to describe it, but I have a big veggie dip that I don't know. It's green. I can't even describe what the hell's in it, but it's unreal. So I like the veggie dip. So dip and nachos with good guac. Actually, I've been using Greek yogurt instead of sour cream for the dip. So much better.
Good protein.
So much better. So I recommend that. And mix in probably right now I'm into the tempos. So I'll probably have a tempo with it. Like I always like, you add or a Guinness. Like Guinness and nachos. Very good combination. Very good combination. We got a lot of text line in 833-401-1440. My guys, I hope McDavid doesn't get 0.1000 on Podkolzin's first. Podkolzin should get to keep the puck of his first, and I don't think it would be very likely. Lost in Alberta. Well, but it's not Podkolzin's first NHL goal, right? Like first goal with a new team. Like, I don't know, he's been in the league a long time. It's his 25th goal. Not a lot of guys keep those. And like I talk to players and, especially if you're playing on 3, 4, 5 teams, you're not keeping the puck. Like you might keep it. Somebody gives it to you. Okay, nice. But it doesn't have much significant meaning for players. Now, if it's first NHL goal, for sure. So there's no one tonight on the orders that could be their first NHL goal. Right? So you don't have to worry about that. It'd be Podkolzin's first as an order. But I tell you, he would gladly give it up. He might be, hey, Connor, do you want me to sign it? That would be great. Hey, we'll speak of greatness next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Ain't it beautiful? The inventory is unprecedented. Volvo Cars Edmonton is proud to boast an amazing selection of in-stock Volvo XC40s, 60s, and 90s. Visit Volvo Cars Edmonton today and experience the exemplary service you've come to expect and the affordable luxury only found with Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Experience the difference. Volvo of Edmonton.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
At Papa John's, better is our specialty. Try our butter chicken pizza. The meats, the works, garden fresh, and more. Each special in its own way, just like you. With that ooey, gooey, crispy, crunchy taste, fresh, never frozen dough, and quality toppings. Special has never tasted better. And so, for a limited time, get any large specialty pizza for just $17.99 with promo code LG1799 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Papa John's.
Michelle and Colette are sisters. Sisters who don't agree on much, especially when it comes to which hockey team is the best.
Edmonton is the best, baby. Vancouver's #1.
Even when it comes to meat snacks from Wilhawks.
I love the Harris Schwiener. The ham sausage rules.
But they will agree
Wilhawk beef jerky is the best.
it might just be the only thing Alberta hockey fans can agree on.
Others can try to imitate, but no one can duplicate Wilhawk beef jerky. Only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win friends with salad.
Often when I meet people at a party or I'm hanging out at my favorite restaurants, I'll introduce myself and they'll say, "Oh, you're Grant Fedoruk from Leading Edge Physio. What can I do about this sore knee? It's been bugging me for months." First, I was thinking, when I'm out like this, I should just tweet my location so people know where to come for a consultation. But then I thought, I'm spending all this money on advertising Leading Edge. Maybe you could come by one of our clinics. That's where we have the technology and really smart physiotherapists who can give you all the advice and treatment you need. Have your people call my people. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company. More than just big bottles. Culligan.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$347. You know what I like on the text line today? Most people, well, not most, but counting the number, it's about 68% are voting for a McDavid goal rather than assist for him to get his 1,000 point tonight. And you know what? Which says, hey, we all know McDavid loves to pass, and he's very good at it. Right? He's almost at a 2-to-1 ratio in passes or assists to goals, with 659 to 340 goals. So just under 2-to-1 ratio. But many of you think McDavid's going to get it with a Gino tonight. Not bad. All I know is with the order's going with 11 forwards. I won't be surprised if McDavid starts the game and then is out on the third shift. So it goes McDavid's line, then you go Henrique's line, then you go McDavid with Draisaitl and Podkolzin. I won't be surprised at all. Victor Arvidsson is out tonight, but it does not sound like it's anything serious. Chris Knobloch said he expects his forward to play in Toronto on the weekend. So there you have it. So we'll get more of that. Speaking of championships, titles, let's get to that next as we get to our racing report brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com. As Colin Livingston joins us once again. See, Colin, how you doing, my man?
You know what? It's another day in paradise, Gregor.
Yeah. F1, and you look at just kind of the the Max Verstappen factor is they're getting ready for Red Bulls coming up and everything like that. But you sent me a chart about all of the wins and stuff and how it's changed and different guys winning and leading and how like last year was utter dominance from Verstappen, right? Pretty much outside of the Saints, it was pretty much him, and then Perez had a bit. But this year it's all over the map with more guys: Russell, Hamilton, Piastri, Norris, Leclerc, Verstappen. It's great. But Verstappen here, early on was more him, but he's came up late. Do you think the last race is a sign that they're back, or was it a one-off?
No, I mean, last weekend was 100% Max Verstappen, just, his absolute brilliance in the rain. He did, what he did was entirely his skill set, not really anything to do with the car. Coming up, obviously Vegas is going to be next weekend, like 10 days from now. Then we'll get back to see, but I don't think that the Red Bull, I doubt the Red Bull will win another race this year. I mean, we got 3 left. But I also don't think that, Norris is going to have a chance to catch Max and the drivers. I mean, right now, Red Bull is fighting to hopefully stay in third in the constructors, with Ferrari and McLaren really starting to put the boots to him.
Yeah. And now Vegas, I'm seeing the weather reports, and I know you race. Like they're talking now that the weather might be like 10 degrees Celsius at 6 and might be like 5 degrees by midnight. And the race is starting late at night. How challenging is it when it's that cold in Formula One?
It sucks. The car itself, like the driver shouldn't be too cold from the neck down. They're essentially sitting around the exhaust. The engine throws a ton of heat, but from the neck up, unless they're really perfectly sealed, you're driving it up to 300 kilometers an hour at 6 degrees, even at 10 degrees. That is bloody brisk. Like your hands are going to end up exposed. There's no way. I mean, yeah, you're wearing gloves, but still, like that wind, it kills. And it's not like they're just holding on to the steering wheel. They need to get onto the dials. They need to access buttons and, to engage their radio, to be able to drink, to, change various settings in the car. I've raced, I think the coldest I've ever raced, it was about 3 degrees Celsius at Mount Tremblant, Quebec, when we were doing a warm up. And like, I thought I don't want to say I thought I was going to die, but my hands were so cold and so stiff. And that was just a 6-minute warm-up session. We were only doing like 120, 130 kilometers an hour on the back straightaway. And it was gnarly. So I don't know why Formula One, who owns the race in Vegas, doesn't give themselves a better slot on the calendar, because this race just, the more I look at it, it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Oh, no. And from a city standpoint, we'd outlined that the last week. Now, one thing we didn't talk about last week was Nils Wittich, who was dismissed as the race director after the fiasco at Brazil. They started out, there was 2 karts missing from the grid that sparked an aborted start with the intent to just restart. But Lando Norris mistook those signals, chose to do another formation lap. Like, it was a gong show. You had Albon and Stroll because they weren't in it, and, they didn't have their slots picked up. Like, how did that become such a fiasco?
That's a great question. Definitely the drivers. I mean, Albon was out because he crashed in qualifying. They had to move qualifying to Sunday because it was rained out. So they just didn't have time to rebuild his car. He had to withdraw. Stroll, we talked about, he parked his car in the gravel. Had nothing to do with the organizers. But where the confusion came was that as they were getting gridded, they had talked about aborting the start with the intention that all they were going to do is figure out if they were going to carry on the way they needed to, if they were going to do another formation lap. And as they didn't communicate anything, Lando Norris, the pole sitter, decided he was going to take it unto himself and do another formation lap. George Russell followed him, never got penalized. Basically it was just the chaos of the moment, but for some reason they chose to remove this guy. Now he's been in that position. These two have basically split the race director duties since 2022, finally got a system going, finally got a lot of experience. So with 3 races to go, to pull this guy out, for something that was really a procedural issue. It's not like the outcome of the race was affected by it. It's not like, any major implications happened. Really strange. I mean, the president of the FIA, Ben Salam, really seems to be a very, very thin-skinned individual. Like, he's worried about drivers swearing over the radio, worried about, drivers' clothing, worried about drivers, wearing jewelry at certain points in time, but not really focused an awful lot on what's happening on the track. So I'm not sure. The whole thing, there's a lot of confusion and a lot of a lot of people asking a lot of questions behind the scenes, saying like, why, where, like, how, what, you couldn't have waited till the end of the season. You couldn't have, given this guy a little bit more time. Really, really strange that they keep making these, what seem like big mistakes with very little gain.
Yeah. Like, had he made a lot of, like, to me, to just fire someone after one, error like that seems a little bit over the top. Was this building up? Had you seen other major glaring errors that led to this?
For me, no, because I don't really pay attention to who the race. I mean, if you've got to worry about who the race director is race to race,
fair point.
There's something really strange going on, and I don't want to get to the point of like vilifying marshals and these guys. I mean, we saw the peak of that in 2021 with Michael Massey, who obviously made a series of big mistakes that had a great influence and altered the outcome of that championship with Verstappen and Hamilton. The rest of it, like right now, there's not really anything in play anymore. Like the drivers is pretty much locked up. McLaren is likely going to win the constructors. There's some positions in the middle, but we're not coming down to the wire for like the most exciting finish. I mean, this has been one of the better seasons where you've got, 6 different winners. And I tried to throw that picture up and tag the show so, people can see, like from last year where the left column is all blue with mostly Verstappen and a couple Perez with one win by Sainz, to this year. It's kind of all over the board where you've got, 4 different manufacturers.
Way better. My humble opinion. I find it's way more entertaining, much more fun to watch, and keeps you engaged. At least it has for me. No, quite. Now, I know Vegas for the race, not a big thing, but what about the kart championship, the Super Kart Nationals?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've been, unfortunately we're a little bit busy at work here today. But I've been glued to the computer trying to watch, some of my friends who are racing, our brand of kart. Our good friend Rob Kozakowski was supposed to be down there. He's got an injury, but he might pull a rabbit out of his hat and try and get down for the weekend and still compete. But great coverage. If people want to watch live racing, obviously there's not a lot going on. Really easy to jump on YouTube. Look up Kart Chaser, KART. The coverage that we get is, it's professional level. I mean, there's multiple cameras, there's behind the scenes interviews, led by Canadian Rob Howden. Rob does a lot of the Road to Indy, Indy Lights and things like that. And then our good buddy Henry Baudet, he's based in the UK, but he comes over for a number of races. The coverage is just awesome. So I've been watching, as much as I can throughout the day. And while I'm in the air tomorrow, I'll likely, if I get the Wi-Fi working, I'll likely be watching somewhere over the Pacific.
Well, Colin, enjoy Asia, fly safe, and we will talk to you in a few weeks.
Sounds good, man.
There you go. That's Colin Livingston in the Racing Report, brought to you by Can Torque. Coming up, Hal Gill will join us, a longtime NHLer, Stanley Cup winner. The Predators, what can they do to avoid being prey tonight again at the hands of McDavid and Draisaitl and the Edmonton Oilers in what will be, I think, a very memorable night. The Oilers want to make it a memorable night. There's added incentive because McDavid getting a point is one thing. It's not a foregone conclusion. It's never guaranteed, but man, it's as closest one as I can think that he's going to get a point tonight. But you want that in a victory for sure. And so, the Oilers, they want to have their first 3-game winning streak of the season. They haven't had one yet. They want to keep climbing the standings. So there's lots more at stake, and McDavid, I'm sure, will mind that. But let's make no mistake, the big celebration within the game will be the 1,000th point in only 659 games for Connor McDavid. And every fan who's going to the game will be waiting for that because the building's going to go crazy, as it should be. Like, that's a big deal. I won't be surprised if he has a lengthy standing ovation, to be honest, when they announce his 1,000th point. I won't be surprised at all. He has given Oiler fans massive amount of enjoyment watching games. Like, I get you haven't won a Stanley Cup, and I've said this all along. The Stanley Cup is one, you're talking 10 years of just ridiculous amounts of high entertainment. And I think the fans know it, and I think they'll show their appreciation tonight. Let's get to the Con Man and Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Fountain Tire. Remember the 7-and-7 deal. You got it's time to get your winter tires on. We've had many more than 7 straight days where it's 7 degrees Celsius or lower. You want to get on your winter tires, and guess what? They'll store your summer tires for you. FountainTire.com.
with a Sports 1440 update.
The pursuit of 1,000 points continues tonight for Connor McDavid as the Edmonton Oilers hosting the Nashville Predators. Puck drop just after 7 o'clock in this one. Pre-game coverage here on Sports 1440 with Andrew Walker and Ethan Morrow gets going at 6 o'clock. Immediately following the Jason Gregor Show, elsewhere, got the Flyers and Sens. The Jets travel to Tampa, taking on the Lightning. Devils in Florida. Rangers host the Sharks. The Stars up against the Bruins. Sabres taking on the Blues. Canucks host the Islanders. And the Blackhawks in Seattle to meet the Kraken. Also the Wild hosting the Montreal Canadiens. Week 11 in the NFL will kick off tonight as the 7-3 Commanders head to Philly to take on the 7-2 Eagles. Kickoff set for 6:15 p.m. And in the association, just one game tonight. Jazz hosting the Mavs. That one gets going at 7 o'clock. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by former NHLer and Nashville Predators analyst Hal Gill, plus another edition of 5 Questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 14. GS Construction is the group that makes sure all those underground pipes that lead to and away from your home stay flowing. Because pipes freeze. You don't want that. So GS Construction has been hard at work as winter approaches, preparing our underground systems to run smoothly. To find out more, visit gsconstruction.ca.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Introducing the Female Super League. Female hockey is on the rise with more women playing the game than ever. Join us as we pave the way for the future of women's hockey. The FSL is more than a game. It's a movement and an experience for the motivated female athlete. Teams will compete in a showcase-style format featuring consistent interprovincial competition. Come be part of the journey as the 2024-25 season unveils a 12U division, as well as the launch of a groundbreaking progressive body-checking 14U division. For more information, visit femalesuperleague.com.
Hey, it's Scott from Sherwood and St. Albert Dodge. I think it's safe to say we are all paying attention to interest rates these days. If so, you'll like this. We have 0% financing available on Jeep Compass, Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, and Wagoneer. 0% on the Dodge Durango and the all-new Hornet. And the rates on Ram 1500, Ram 2500, and Ram 3500, you guessed it, 0%. Are you picking up the theme? We have 0% financing on virtually all 2024 new models with hundreds to choose from. Why pay interest? Instead, come get a new vehicle at St. Albert and Sherwood Dodge.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. You got your love drives a man insane.
Portions of this hour brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. The Canada-wide clearance is on now at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation. See more at gmcoffers.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Rolling through game day, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, of course, sports1440.ca is where you can get involved, listen to the show, watch it. We love it. Coming up later on, we will hear from Evan Bouchard, Matthias Ekholm, as they get set for a game against Nashville. Also a game that likely is going to feature Connor McDavid's 1,000th career point. Not bad. Let's go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's, and it's Thursday. Guess what? Fan Day deals, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Use the McDonald's app. It's only via the app. And you can get $4 Big Macs, $4 McChickens, $4 filet of fish. The Fan Day deals, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, only at McDonald's. As we are joined by Stanley Cup champion, longtime analyst of the Nashville Predators, Hal Gill. Joins us. Hal, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Just enjoying Edmonton, getting ready to hopefully see a good game tonight.
Al, when you played, were you ever on a team that just had another team's number for an extended period of time, or conversely had your number? It's odd that Edmonton has dominated Nashville to the sense that they have here for the last 7 years.
Yeah, you know what? That used to really, that ticked me off. I got traded a couple times. I go to a team and I remember guys saying, we struggle against this team. Well, I'm on your team now, and I've always had success against this team. So can we go out and pretend like where I'm coming from? I feel like a lot of times that gets in your head. I do think there's certain players that struggle and it gets in their head, but I feel like that's part of being an athlete, is getting over the hump and saying, hey, I can be good here. And I had an instance where I was no good in Joe Louis. I felt like I struggled in that building, and I turned around, ended up winning a cup there, and then it became my favorite place. Then they had to tear it down. But I think you put that mindset in your head, and that's trouble. That being said, Draisaitl seems to have figured things out against the Preds, so I'm sure he's chomping at the bit. But the Preds have to do something about it and turn that around.
Yeah. Well, I look at the center ice position. When you have McDavid and Draisaitl, that's a big advantage. And Nashville, I think that's probably the one area where they would love to upgrade. Now they got Novak out, so that makes it even worse, Hal. And you played, and we talk about, goaltending, defense, center ice. It's just you're able to impact the game more as a center iceman, right? Like you seem to be in all areas of the ice more. And when you watch the Preds, do you find is that an area that if they really want to take that next step, they got to find a way to improve down the middle?
Yeah, they were really hoping Novak would take that and start making plays. You give them players like Stamkos and Marchessault to get something going. Of course, now he's injured and out. It's a tough loss because I think they want to try to build on that. But I do feel like a guy like Colton Sissons kind of fits in there, but certainly, down the middle, they need guys to step up. I feel like Juuso Parssinen has jumped in there, and he's that big centerman that, can he get over the hump? Can he become a regular NHL player and be that impact guy that you're talking about? Well, we'll see. But, it's certainly something the Preds have been looking for, is after Ryan O'Reilly, it's been kind of a jumble down there.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. What's the prognosis for Novak? How long?
I don't. I think they're day to day, just monitoring him and making sure that he's good and get to 100% before they put him back out. But he's been on the trip and he's been trying to wait for the right time. And I think that's something the NHL and the Preds have been good about, is making sure that guys are healthy before they get back out there and not trying to rush guys back. And I know it's become desperation time for the Preds, but I think there's certain things that you need to wait out. So he's day to day, and I think we're just waiting to see when he's ready.
The Preds obviously got off to a terrible start, but they seemingly they found their game a little bit here. Now, Edmonton's the one team that's kind of their kryptonite right now. But if you look at the Preds overall, what has been the areas of improvement here the last 3 weeks?
The D zone, the defense is much better. Had a good last couple games. They've been really solid in the D zone. And, I think that's something they didn't have a lot of confidence in. Now they just need to make sure that they're getting that good D zone and getting that transition so that they're playing the fast game that they want to play. Sometimes when you simplify it and you make sure, the details of defense you're focusing on those, you take away from a little bit of the punch that you have offensively. So I think they just have to tie that all back in together. But certainly the last two outings have been a lot better in the defensive zone.
Hal Gill joins us, analyst for the Nashville Predators. Hal, Dante Fabro came in, and man, he had some really good years early on in Nashville, and then it just slowly kind of fell out of favor. What changed in his game that led him to being put on waivers and ultimately claimed by Columbus?
Yeah, I felt for the kid. I feel like he came in and he was just thrown right into the playoffs and played really well his first year out of Boston University, and then every year he went, it seemed like a contract year, and he was hanging on and he was playing well, but then he'd get pulled out of the lineup just because there's, another way for the coaches to go, whether it was Hines or with Burnett. They were just, no one really fell in love with him and gave him a chance to get that confidence from, playing 20, 25 games. And I feel like, he was always kind of on the outs. And so I think this is going to be a good change for him. Go play for Columbus and try to find his game, whether it's playing in the minors, because he was stuck here and kind of, not in the lineup and not playing in Milwaukee. And it's kind of, how do you get your confidence? How do you get your game? When he moves his feet, he's really good. He can get pucks through from the point. He can defend well. Nothing really clicked to get his confidence in Nashville. So he's a great kid. I hope he finds it, in Columbus and can get his career going.
Yeah, for sure. With those changes on defense, I know they just recalled another, fourth round draft picks who turn out to be good defensemen. So one thing the Preds do well, man, is they find defensemen anywhere in the draft who seem to turn out to be really good players. Are we going to see Adam Wilsby tonight?
I do not believe so. I think he's on the trip. He's here. I think they're really happy with Delgado playing with Luke Shen. He's been an impact player. I feel like he's been fun to watch. They do need that with this long road trip that the Preds are on. They need that seventh defenseman here to be ready to go. So, Wilsby impressed everyone in camp. And so, I know he's talking to Scott Nickel about Milwaukee and what they've done. He's really liked his game. So he's here and, maybe he'll get his chance. We got a back-to-back coming up, so we'll see. But right now it looks like Edmonton tonight, it's going to be Delgado and Shen going. And so, we'll see down the road.
Hal, you played with the young Sidney Crosby when you won the Stanley Cup in 2009. You played with him for a few seasons. Actually went to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals. Very dynamic player. Yeah. Now you look at, Connor McDavid's come in and, McDavid's, if he gets a point tonight, he'll reach 1,000 points, 98 games faster than Sid did. And Sid's an unreal player. What, as a big defenseman, when you watch the game, because you watch it different than a lot, what impresses you most about McDavid? And then what do you think is the most fearful part from a defenseman's perspective in trying to defend him?
It's speed. It's really, I think it's just that ability to shift and go and accelerate. And we just, just got to see, Nathan McKinnon, the way he can attack and hit a hole. I feel like as a defenseman, there's a lot of times for my game and the way I played defense, I was giving them something and taking it away.
Okay.
And trying to debate them into something. And, a guy like McDavid, I just don't think he falls for it. He's trying to set up a gap. And if you're one step off and you just, if you open pivot the wrong way at the wrong time, I feel like he just picks you apart, and he senses that and he can see it. And as soon as he sees it, it's a quick cross, and then he's gone, and you can't catch up. You can't recover from a little misstep. And, if you cross your feet, you're dead in the water. And so I think he waits for that. And then as soon as he sees it, he's gone. And so that changed the direction and that speed and the way that the aggression that he attacks, especially on the power play, when you're shorthanded, you're trying to find gaps and anticipate those gaps. And he can change the passing lane in a millisecond, and then it's too late and it's over, and it's over to Draisaitl in the back of the net. And so I've been real impressed watching him. And Sid has always done the same thing. I think Sid has a different skill set. I think Sid working around the net and down below and his vision, whether he's using a backhand pass or a forehand pass, he can he's like one of those bubble hockey players where he can just rip it around and move it anywhere. And McDavid plays it a little different, but both, and I get excited to watch these guys because they're so fun to watch because they just do things different that a lot of people can't do.
Yeah, no question about it. You look at, and you mentioned, that speed and how you attack and different things. Steven Stamkos has come over, Hal, and, you changed teams a few times in your career. It's not always just seamless, right? Like there's a lot to routine, and maybe there's pressure, especially if you're a big name player like Stamkos. Like, God, I gotta really impress here. I got to score because that's my role on a new team and everybody's expecting it from me. How has he looked? Are you seeing signs? Is he getting more comfortable?
Yes, he is. He's been playing up with O'Reilly and Forsberg, and I feel like they're starting to click. They're starting to make the plays out of the corner, and I think Stammer's getting some confidence. I don't know if you guys saw in overtime against Colorado. I think he hit 24.2 miles per hour, blowing down the wing, and it was like, whoa, here he is. Okay, now he's getting his feet under him. I think anytime you go through a change, and especially playing 16 years for one team, you try to figure things out, and it takes some time. And I think he's getting it. I think he's getting his confidence. He always has his shot to rely on, so that's a thing the Preds have been using, that power play one-timer. But the rest of his game, I think, is coming around. It's kind of exciting to see, because if it does pop and it does come to life, it's going to be fun to watch. It's just there's glimpses of it and more of them as the season goes on. So he's got to keep that going. And the 5-on-5 play, he's just got to get comfortable with playing with new players and with a new system. And I think he's getting it.
Well, you look at it in Nashville, just because of their division, Winnipeg's off to the greatest start we've ever seen. And, Minnesota's off to a really good start. And Dallas is 9-5, but they're 12 points out of first place. Like, they got a really good start, but they're not even close to the Jets. And then Colorado's coming on. Like, Nashville, like they can't really wait for Stamkos to get going. They really need him to get going, just because otherwise they'll find themselves too far out behind really good teams.
Yeah, it's a tough, being in November and saying, hey, we need 1 point on the road isn't good enough. You need 2 points. That's not easy, and it's stressful. And I know the guys are carrying a lot of the weight, but at the end of the day, they just got to go out and play. And I think they do have a little confidence in what they did last year, where they went on an 18-game heater and pushed themselves back into the playoff mix. So they know it's there. They just have to get it together. And I think, personally, if I've been there, when it's a must win, it's like, okay, what are we talking about a must win? Of course we want to win every game. How are we going to do it? And I think they need to get back to the basics, and D-zone was a big part of it. If they can solve that, it seems like they have, and then just play the game as it plays out, I think that's a better approach, rather than putting the pressure on you to make sure that you get 2 points every night. And it's a must win and all that. I think they got to, like eating an elephant, one bite at a time.
Hal Gill joins us, analyst for the Nashville Predators. And lastly, Hal, when you look up and down this lineup, Parson, they've got some young players, Tomasino, Evangelista, that, Barry Trotz had kind of hinted back that, he was looking to maybe give those guys more opportunity. Which one do you think is ready to handle more opportunity?
Well, you know what the funny part is they've kind of slotted those guys in. Evangelista was actually going to be a healthy scratch, and then Novak was out, and he ended up having to stay in the game. And all of a sudden, he went out there and played a great game. And he was playing with Parsonen and Tomasino, and I think they're calling it the kid line, because
right.
They're going out and they're playing with that little bit of edge, a little more comfortable. They're not deferring to Stamkos or to Marchessault or to anyone else. They're kind of working well together. And so I think the funny part is you ask who's popping. Well, they're popping together, and they've been playing some great games. Parsonen has, points in 4 games, and he seems to be showing that, he can play the defensive game as well. So, I think time will tell. We were waiting for these guys to pop a little sooner, and Evangelista kind of did last year. He took a little bit of a step back, but now he's playing some good hockey. So when they're all together, they kind of go out there and work the way they know they're supposed to, and they have fun with it, and then they're having success. So hopefully that keeps going, because that's kind of a big third line for the Preds right now.
Awesome stuff, man. We appreciate it, Hal. We'll see you at the rink tonight. Thanks for your time.
Sounds good. Enjoy the game, guys.
There you go. That's Hal Gill, analyst for the Nashville Predators. And you know what? His description of the center ice position and really just the advantage that Edmonton has. And if you listen to what Hal said, watch that tonight, and you just see, especially when they're on separate lines. And I think probably the most under talked about fact of this regular season so far for the Edmonton Oilers is how good Leon Draisaitl's played 5-on-5. Leon Draisaitl's 5-on-5 numbers have been outstanding. And I'm not just talking offensive, like his offensive numbers are fine. I'm just talking his overall game. It's been very good. And he's played majority of it away from McDavid. Right? That line, now they've had, 6-7 games together. And, at some point, Podkolzin will have to produce some goals. But, they've had good possession numbers. That's great. They're not getting scored on a ton. They're starting to produce a little bit, Arvidsson. Right? And so, Podkolzin, and I'm sure once he gets one, because it's been, a year and a half. Last time he scored was in March of 2023 in the NHL. So it's been a while. Right? He'd love to score. And I'm sure that would just relax him a little bit. But I've liked his forecheck, and I like his defensive awareness. Everything's great. But, he can make plays with the puck. The one difference between him that I find is he makes plays with the puck. Because we've had some people saying, what's the difference between Podkolzin and Puljujarvi? Well, first of all, Podkolzin's done it for 7 games. Right? Puljujarvi spent years in the top 6, didn't produce. Right? Played hard. I never questioned his work ethic ever for a moment. But the finish, the execution, we all saw it. Wasn't great. Podkolzin's better playmaker. He's more physical too. But I'll say this. If Evander Kane was healthy, if Podkolzin gets up to 40 games and has 1 or 2 goals 5-on-5, trust me, you're not going to stay there. It's just not going to happen. So, it's not a coincidence to me. McDavid's offensive total skyrocketed when he got a right winger who could produce. Possession numbers stayed the same. The difference was he produced. All you got to do is go look at the numbers. So the numbers don't lie. Yes, a Puljujarvi post McDavid. You know the answer. McDavid post Puljujarvi. So when the numbers, you can look at the numbers, and if you want to suggest that, it's because of Puljujarvi, I think you're mistaken. Because some of those same people said, well, geez, Zach Hyman's not a good defensive player. And now look at his possession numbers. Oh, they're not bad. It's not. When you play with a guy like McDavid, he can generate and create so much. A lot of the other guys, they just, they kind of get to suck up the positivity of possession. And I want to get to Matthias Ekholm, because Matthias Ekholm had a great point today about how just being on the ice with McDavid makes his job easier. Now, I know that's hey, Captain Obvious, but no. It's what he described in why it makes it easier. We'll get to that and more when we return on the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation YouTube, and Facebook, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Use the promo code Gregor50. You get a free $50 play in the month of November. PlayAlberta.ca.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle,
Throw the load down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
Ain't it beautiful? There's electricity in the air. Carrie Dahl here for Volvo of Edmonton, where the Volvo XC40 and C40 fully electric vehicle is now in stock, along with a great selection of Volvo T8 hybrid models. Experience the trusted Volvo quality and technology to power into tomorrow at Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Experience the difference.
Volvo of Edmonton.
Got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
When it comes to your health, trust Dr. Bryce Henderson for expert care in hip and knee replacements. With years of experience and advanced techniques, Dr. Henderson helps you regain your mobility and quality of life.
Your health is my priority. Let's get you back to doing what you love.
Put your health in the hands of a trusted expert. Book your consultation with Dr. Henderson today. Visit vitalsurgicalspecialist.ca or call 587-391-7864.
Get ready to revolutionize your job site with Edmonton Kubota's game-changing compact construction equipment. From mini excavators and skid steers to track loaders, carriers, and utility vehicles, they have a model to fit every need, all powered by legendary Kubota diesel engines. These machines are built for performance and reliability. Transform your work with Edmonton Kubota's top-of-the-line compact equipment. Visit them today and see why they're the name you can trust for power and precision.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit PlayAlberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's Scott from Sherwood and St. Albert Dodge. I think it's safe to say we are all paying attention to interest rates these days. If so, you'll like this. We have 0% financing available on Jeep Compass, Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, and Wagoneer. 0% on the Dodge Durango and the all-new Hornet. And the rates on Ram 1500, Ram 2500, and Ram 3500, you guessed it, 0%. Are you picking up the theme? We have 0% financing on virtually all 2024 new models with hundreds to choose from. Why pay interest? Instead, come get a new vehicle at St. Albert and Sherwood Dodge.
Your furnace is dead. It's time to replace it before winter crushes you. Legacy Heating and Cooling is practically there already.
Yeah, we're working in your basement, doing a replacement. The work is so earnestly, building your legacy.
With no payments and no interest for 1 year, you gotta call Legacy. Replacing your dying furnace before it's too late, that's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
I Hear Unicare provides hearing aid devices at affordable prices. Plus, all 5 locations, including our new Stony Plain and St. Albert stores, have free parking near the entrance. At I Hear Unicare, we listen. Book an appointment at ihearunicare.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every Oilers game at OTR with $5.25 Molson Canadian, $5 Pink Whitney shots, and 60-cent wings. Plus, play Oilers score and win for your chance to win On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave and 118th.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$4.30. Hey, speaking of the boss, I think we got a really generous donation for Positive Friday. I think we're going to auction off a loge table for Springsteen next week in Edmonton. Oh, nice. So I think we'll do that tomorrow on the show, Con Man.
Yeah, shout out to Global Well Servicing in Drayton Valley for the donation. Want to raise some money as we head towards the holidays. So
yeah, many of you love Bruce Springsteen loge tickets. Woo, gentlemen, ladies, you got somebody who is a big fan. Well, opportunity tomorrow to surprise them. Get yourself in the good books, or maybe how about stay in the good books, right? I don't think you probably not in them. If you're thinking about buying it, you're probably already in the good books. So that's good news. 4:30, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440. Let's go in the room now, brought to you by Action Electrical, where they always remind you to take actions on your savings, because right now there are huge savings to be had. Because did you know that right now at Action Electrical, you have the opportunity to through the federal government, where you can get a massive ITS break of up to 30%. It's huge money. So if you're looking for commercial on your not residential, for commercial buildings, contact actionelectrical.net and they can help you out. Matthias Ekholm, I mentioned it earlier. Just him talking about of Connor McDavid and playing against him, but I asked him about. When you look against a guy like McDavid, the intimidation factor, because he played against him and now he's with him. And do you sense it on both sides of, when he's on your team, you can intimidate, and conversely, if you're an opposing player, do you feel that?
Well, it's hard for me to put into words what other guys are feeling, but I can say this. I think that when you played against him, you for sure noticed when he was on the ice, and you knew you had to be on your toes. And conversely, now playing with him, I think, and obviously I don't have any numbers backing it up or anything like that, but when I go back for a puck when I'm on the ice with him, I feel sometimes I get an extra second, just because maybe the opposing team they want to stay on the right side. They may not want to be as aggressive with their forecheck. So, that helps me a lot as a D-man, knowing that I can go back, and I'm not saying I have an extra second, but it could be just an extra split second sometimes, where that helps you on your breakout to make sure we can get the pass on our forwards tapes, and especially Dave Ostick, obviously, when he comes up by. So I think that for sure he is an intimidation factor. And I know when I played against him, I knew I always looked over my shoulder to see if he was on the ice or not.
I love it what he said. He goes, hey, I don't have the numbers to back it up. And it's something that, maybe you look into, but he feels it as a player. And a lot of times when you feel something, usually there's something to it. And all of a sudden McDavid's on the ice, you're going back. So now, as like he said, like a full second's probably too long, but if it's a split second, a quarter of a second, and the NHL level, that feels like an eternity. And now all of a sudden you take that little extra time. It allows you, if you're a good puck mover, to make plays. Right? Same thing with Evan Bouchard. He'd probably be the first one to tell you that. Right? You get back to the puck. McDavid's on the ice. Oh, now I've got an extra half second. And that's all these guys need. They're the best of the best. That's all they need. And then they're able to look up ice, whether it's hitting McDavid in stride, whether it's hitting someone else, the winger, and boom, they're out of the zone. And that's so intimidation. I've always talked about this. Intimidation, the Oilers can still be an intimidating team, not physically, but with McDavid, with Draisaitl, when their power play's humming, that's intimidating. And I still would like to see the Oilers. They need to use their power play more to their advantage by getting on the power play more. And I think that becomes by being more assertive and aggressive 5-on-5 and putting opposing teams in positions where they have to draw penalties. And I think that's something that's still a work in progress for this team. Because outside of 20, and guess what? The 1 year they did it, where the Oilers finished 6th in power play opportunities per game, guess what happened? 32% on the power play. It's not a coincidence to me that the best playoff year or power play year the Oilers had was also the year they had the most man advantages. So you get into more of a rhythm. And other years, 21st, 24th, 30th, 32nd, not good enough. Because when you're good, the more opportunities you get to do something, you have better chance to showcase how good you are. Now, the Oilers' power play, when it's all said and done, they'll probably be around 25% again this year. Won't surprise any of us. But I think for them, if they want to get back to that 32, which is crazy, and they might never get back there because it's like the greatest 1 year power play we've ever seen. But it's not lost on me at all that year was also the time that they got the most power play chances. So think about it. The more chances you have, you know, now to maintain 32%, you got to score even more. So, you know, like, hey, yeah, okay, we got 32 out of our first 100, but now you got to maintain that and get 96 out of 300. Just harder. The longer it goes, the more you get, the harder it is to maintain it. But you can get in a rhythm, and they definitely did. Ekholm also talked about, you know, his perspective, just, you know, of McDavid, kind of, you know, there's some captain obvious things about having it, but he's been on both sides now as a player and a teammate. And, you know, does the respect and appreciation come even more now that you get to see it on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? Just see his game. Even last game, he takes it over by himself and just imposes his will on teams and the way he plays. Like, he's the best in the world, and he proves it every night. I feel like if not, it's very often you see him out there taking a game over or just doing it himself, and it's very impressive to see the level that he holds himself accountable to. And yeah, in my opinion, he's the best in the world, and it's a great feeling to have him on your side, opposed to playing against him. And yeah, it's been a pleasure so far.
Yeah, pleasure, putting it mildly. Now, Evan Bouchard, I had a chance to go one-on-one with Bouchard. And first of all, we just talked about the power play. Looks like it's coming back around. And from his perspective, what has he seen as the biggest improvement on the man advantage?
I think the work ethic, getting pucks back, I think is what we're really good at. And when you get pucks back off a rebound or whatnot, that's when the defense is kind of not expecting you to, attack. And I think that's what's making us successful and keeping things simple too. We knew what we have, we know what we have, and we got to stick with it. And that's what we did.
It's odd that the highest scoring team in the league the last few years was in a little bit of an offensive funk. And Brett Kulak, one of the few guys who is, and he was joking. He's like, "Man, I feel great. I don't know what happens to guys who score all the time, but it does impact even the best players sometimes when you're not scoring, even though you're creating a ton of chances."
Yeah, we know the scoring's going to come, but in a sense it could be a good thing, make us really focus on our defensive game. When scoring's not going well, we know we can't really outscore teams. Right now, when the puck's not going to the net for us, so it really makes us focus on the defensive side, which could be a good thing. And then when the scoring comes, which it will, then we'll be ahead of the pack.
You take a lot of shots, and you've been excellent at getting pucks through in your career. This year, you've had a lot of shots blocked higher than the normal by quite a bit. Are guys attacking you different, or is that more on you to say, I got to be better to get those shots through?
Yeah, a bit of both. I think it's more on me just putting pucks through, whether it's not always have to be on the net, but even miss the net, give her forward the chance. That's something that I'm working on here, and we'll get better at.
And tomorrow, Connor McDavid has a chance to become only the 99th player to have 1,000 points, but the fourth fastest. And since you've come in the league, you've had a chance to play with them. You're a very cerebral player, sees the ice very well. You kind of marvel, even though it's year 5 now, 4 for you, that you're still like just what the guy can do on any given day.
Yeah, it's special every day. It's never, he always seems to amaze you with what he does. But it's game in, game out, his skating, his passing, his vision, even his shooting. Like it's an underrated aspect of his. And every day, even in practice, he does something that you don't really expect a player to be able to do.
I'm sure there had to be, when you first came in, a little bit of an intimidation factor of like, I always got to get him the puck. I got to defer. And, he's talked about how, that evolves over time. And it's like, hey, Evan, you got to make as many plays as me. How did that transition go for you, where it's not that you necessarily look off 97, but you're confident at times that, you know what, I can make the play without always having to look for him?
Yeah. I mean, when he is open, you want to get him the puck, right? That's pretty obvious. When he calls for the puck, he usually is in a good spot to, make a move. So when you get the puck in his hands, it's great. But then there's times where defense do a good job taking him away, and sometimes that's no blessing. So he usually will take up two guys with him because they're so worried about him that it leaves the guy open. So essentially, you just got to make the right read.
And lots of times when a player in hockey, it's always about the team, but when you have an individual accolade like that, it's a pretty big deal. Do you ensure as a group that you guys are going to make sure that, he recognizes how big of a deal it is to his teammates as much as it should be for himself?
Yeah, it's obviously a huge deal. Everyone's looking forward to next game, whether it's next game or, games down the road. Everybody's excited. Everybody's happy for him. And, I think he realizes it's a big deal. But, like you said, the team comes first.
Like Bouchard talking about getting pucks through, right? We've been talking about it earlier. Like last year, he wasn't like the other top end guys, Quinn Hughes, Cale Makar, and other guys. Like usually defensemen who are offensive minded defensemen who play a lot of power play minutes. They're usually near the top of having shots blocked because of penalty kill, everything else. You shoot lots, you're going to have some shots blocked, no problem. But Bouchard, the most he's ever had was 185. He's over 60 already. And so that's something that you're looking at. I like what he said there. He goes, it's not always just, hey, get it through. And, there's lively end boards. You got guys around the net. It's just much better. You get the shot blocked and all of a sudden it's out of the zone. Now you got to regroup. So he's been very good at it. And I would think those numbers are going to drop. He had such a ridiculously odd start as far as how many were getting blocked that, he's probably going to set a record for him anyway of most shots blocked in a season. But his shot rate should come down significantly here. Shot attempts blocked because it was just way too high. The NHL record is 296. He was on pace for like 325. So it's got to bring that down a bit. We'll come back with 5 questions and more on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. We'll take your thoughts. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 in our email inbox.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Raise a smoothie to any friend you've had since 1999. That's a good friend. And Booster Juice was there, now celebrating 25 years in Canada and more than 450 locations from coast to coast. A silver anniversary splashed with lots of oranges. Celebrate 25 years of Booster Juice with the return of OG favorite smoothies like the Marathon, the Original, and the Orangesicle, made with oranges, orange sorbet, and vanilla frozen yogurt. Happy 25th, Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Weather forecast? Ugh.
Savings forecast, cha-ching. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 at Fountain Tire until December 14th. Restrictions apply. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in bets. You already play. For every 100 bonus terms and conditions apply.
Early access to real Black Friday prices now at the Brick. Save up to 65% off select sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining room furniture. Plus, save up to $700 off a big screen TV and get free shipping on TVs over 50 inches. Find 40% off mattresses and next day delivery on in-stock beds. Plus, save 3 times the tax when you buy 2 or more Samsung major kitchen appliances. Find a lower price before the end of the year and the Brick will refund the difference. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details.
I have a startling fact. Prostate cancer affects 1 in 6 Alberta men. This could be your brother, son, father, grandfather, or friend. This November, through our Keep It in Alberta campaign, we're raising money to build a new man van, bringing free, life-saving prostate cancer testing directly to Alberta men. Thanks to our partner, the Agate Foundation, every donation will be matched up to $350,000, doubling your impact. Be part of the fight to eliminate advanced prostate cancer. Visit keepitinalberta.ca to donate today.
Tim's Holiday Smile Cookie is back. From November 18th to 24th, get one to give back to your community. 100% of proceeds are donated to local charities, community groups, and Tim Hortons Foundation camps at participating restaurants in Canada.
Connor did. Yeah, Declan worked the most in there. He said she was good.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
447. This is from Night of the Roxbury, isn't it? Cons? Like, I know that's like
I don't think it's like their main song, but it might be in the movie. Like, it fits the...
Yeah, I thought it was in the movie for sure. It's in one of the like dance scenes, I thought.
Good song.
Oh, kidding me? That's LaBouche, correct?
Yeah, and you're right. It is on the it's on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
So.
See, hey, buddy, it's that genre, I'm on it. Like, that's a great tune. Great tune.
I bet the dance floor was crazy when those songs would
buddy,
come on.
Unbelievable. I hope the younger generation now who goes out, you need a club like that where you can just cut a rug, man. It was so fun. And so I hope that you go to a place that has like that. Like, you get on OTR's dance floor still, man, they'll rock it out sometimes. It's unreal. So I just think that's an important, it's just fun. I don't care how good. And here's the thing. No one's staring at you. People always like, wow, I'm not a good dancer. Who's watching you? Like maybe the people, and they're just like, are you out here? Shake it up. Shake what mom and dad, shake what they gave you. Who cares? It's good times. You're not on Dancing with the Stars. No one's videoing it. Maybe they are. Maybe they'll be that good. Who knows? But yeah, you got to cut a rug every now and then, man. It's awesome. I love it. I have a little dance party in the kitchen every now and then too. Just crank up the tunes. Plus my son gets embarrassed now, so it's good. I'm just saying, hey buddy, this is how you need to move it. He doesn't really watch. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. As right now, the Black Friday pricing is on. You can save up to 60% off clearance appliances, plus below cost scratch and dent items. So get some great deals right now at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, let's get a prediction for tonight's game. And also, at what point do we see McDavid's 1,000 point, and how does it happen?
I don't think you wait very long. I think he'll do it in the first period. The Oilers have owned Nashville for a while. Nashville's center depth has taken another bite with Novak out. So I'm saying Oilers win big 5-2. And McDavid gets an assist. I'd love it to be a goal, but I think it'll be fitting. It'll be an apple for McDavid. I would kind of prefer it to be a goal, but I think it'll be an assist.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I'm taking an Oilers win. I'll go a little bit more, 5-1. Multi-point night for McDavid, of course. And I'm going to say it's going to be a really nice play, and someone's going to tap it in. I think he's going to set someone up for a really nice goal.
Gift goal.
Absolutely. I think that's what he wants.
So that's kind of like a Zach Hyman. Is that what you're telling me?
that's where I'm leaning. Hyman, maybe Draisaitl sneaks in, but a tap-in goal for McDavid. Cross crease, maybe.
Not a bad call.
I think that's what I'm going to pick.
Never seen one of those before.
Yeah, he's only done it a few times. We saw Rick Dollywell out in Vancouver tweeting today. Lots of talk about Rick Campbell as a potential coach for the green and gold Edmonton Elks. Would you like that hire if it were to happen?
I could see there being benefits there. I think they're looking for stability. And, Rick's been a head coach for a long time. He understands, the player management factor, but it all comes down to who's he's the head coach, who's his coordinators. Is he going to bring Maximic with him from BC? Well, now you're talking, because I think that could be a great combination, because Maximic's a guy who I think is very good at helping develop quarterbacks. And to me, because now if this is me talking, my GM, his priority is that we're having Trey Ford and we're developing him and we're helping him grow, because he has got great potential. He's shown it in pretty much every one of his starts here the last 2 years, except the Winnipeg game. He's been very good. So to me, you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a chance. So that's what I'd be looking for. And Maximic, who's been the OC, now he might become the head coach. That's the other thing, right? We're hearing that Maiden's going to likely take over the GM duties, so maybe that's why you're hearing Rick Campbell potentially, because he's currently there's like a co-GM going on in BC right now, and it looks like they're going to go to a one-man GM, which does make a lot of sense.
Yeah. If Campbell comes over, brings Maximic, he obviously was with this team as well, so the connection with the city, the organization would be there. I like what Campbell's done in the last couple of years, so I would not be opposed to the hiring. Got to have that commitment, though, and that stability that he would bring. He's a proven head coach in the CFL, a couple of trips to the West Finals. So obviously the Bombers got in the way of those, and they're a pretty good team. But I would be okay with that hire. I think that'd be a good move. We are just days away from the Grey Cup. Do you have a favorite Grey Cup memory?
Well, there's two. The Eddie Brown catch in 1996, I still think is one of the greatest catches I've ever seen. Although the Tony Champion one in 89 was unbelievable as well. Those two catches and the 2005 Grey Cup at BC Place, I was there covering it live. That's when I had a very brief chat with Fergie, because they were the halftime show. Right? She got lost underneath, didn't know where she was going. That was our conversation, but it was fine. But that game was unreal. Went to overtime, right? Ricky Ray was phenomenal, the back and forth. But those two catches, and then 2005.
Yeah, 2005 was great. Really enjoyed that victory. I will say, and I'm sorry, Declan, the too many men on the field for the Rough Riders.
People were talking about that again the other day, man.
It was just so inopportune. I couldn't believe the heartbreak. I'm sorry for even bringing it up, Declan. But hey, that one is always going to be something that stands out to me. Just crazy how it all happened. Question number 4. Eagles Commanders tonight. Thursday night football, battle of the top teams in the NFC East. Eagles 4-point favorites, over under at 49.5. What would be the smart bet for you tonight?
Oh, I'm taking the over. Yeah, I know that's somebody scoring 27, 24, something like that. But, man, there's a lot of potential on both sides here. Now, the Eagles have been playing pretty well. This is going to be a real good test for Washington. And I am actually, I recorded that game. So, because honestly, Jaden Daniels for me right now is highly entertaining. Jalen Hurts, same thing. Like this, on paper, this has all the makings of a very entertaining game.
Totally with you. Jaden Daniels on prime time. I think that's a fun one. Going up against the Eagles could go a long way in determining the positioning between these two teams in the division. It's so many star players. You've got AJ Brown, Scary Terry, Saquon Barkley, Eckler. There's a lot of fun players. I like the over there. If I was going to do a bet, maybe a parlay here. Robinson, Barkley, anytime touchdown. Same game parlay at Play Alberta. I think that'd be the route I would go in that one. You're just hoping for major scores. Final question for you. Patrick Warburton celebrates his 60th birthday today. Probably best known for Putty and Seinfeld. But he's got a long list of cameos. He's starred in TV shows. Very funny guy, but seems to be the guy that kind of has smaller roles in a lot of movies and TV shows. When it comes to celebrity cameos in movies and TV, do you have a favorite?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly love a good cameo. The one that comes to mind for me would be Neil Patrick Harris in Harold and Kumar. Go to White Castle.
Really?
Just who he is. Like, I never knew much about him. He was Doogie Howser, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Kind of missed that part. And then this guy NPH shows up, and he's a problem for those two, doing all the crazy things. And then Michael Cera in This Is the End. I don't know if you've seen that. It's basically a movie of cameos at the beginning. There's tons of them. But Michael Cera being the party animal, doing drugs, things like that. Not what you would have expected. So I'll go with those two.
I'm going to go Well, there's one that most people might not even remember it. When Bill Murray was in Dumb and Dumber. When he was the incognito. Remember he had the gas mask on? He was the roommate for a very brief time. So but it was in Dumb and Dumber too, so it was a terrible movie. So, but that was funny. But I'm actually going to go. I really liked Mike Myers in Bohemian Rhapsody.
I haven't seen that one yet. Shocking.
No.
What does he do?
He was just he goes in there and he had a line. God, I'm trying to remember the line. It was something like it had to do with head because so obviously he went in there. There was a little bit of a joke about his character in Wayne's World. Because he said something about nobody's going to be headbanging to Bohemian Rhapsody. So it's fitting. So that one kind of stands out. It's a good question. Right? I just found that line very funny if you caught it because of the reference to Wayne's World.
Because of that movie, who doesn't headbang at the end?
Oh,
right, you have to.
How can you not? Yeah, it's a no-brainer. So that's why I think you had to do it. We got a lot of texts coming in. Hey, guys, Zoolander, David Bowie. Oh, good one. Yeah, I like that one.
Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder. Great movie.
So, Greg, did you and Fergie have a moment? Did she lock eyes with you? Was it similar to Struds from Hacksaw? You know what, Hacksaw? Well, we actually communicated. We actually spoke. So, in theory, I would say I probably had, by the standard Struddy has said, which is very low, on what is deemed a moment, I would argue mine with Fergie was more. Now, I never took it as that I'm not that delusional, but I just remember I was like, yeah, she's really short. That's the first thing that stood out to me. And obviously she was rather attractive. And she was super nice. Like, she was very polite. She's like, oh my God, can you help me? I don't know where I'm going. And like, luckily I had just come from that direction because I'm not from BC. But like, I don't know the back ways down BC Place, but I just happened to walk past it. So it looked like I knew what I was doing. So thank God. But because that'd be more embarrassing for, hey, can you help me? No, I can't. Sorry. But yeah, Hacksaw, it's a good memory, buddy. Maybe I should put that up against Struddy's moment and how I would deem it. Like, who do I think has a better chance of that person saying they remember interacting with me? Because I'll tell you, if I would say, I ever met Fergie again and be like, yeah, I helped you at the Grey Cup when you were lost down below. There's a chance she would remember that rather than Struddy and be like, yeah, we were walking on the street in New York and we locked eyes across the street. Yeah, I'm not sure she's remembering that. I don't even know who it wasn't. Julia Roberts, was it? Was it Julia Roberts?
Cindy Crawford.
Cindy Crawford. Yeah, that's it.
Is there a chance she just kind of zoned out? Was like looking over his head.
Yeah, or maybe it was just like, geez, look at those power alleys over there. Holy cow. Oh, so good. Oh, love it. Favorite cameo. Hey guys, Sarah getting slapped by Rihanna is the best. Oh, Michael, when he got, what movie are we talking about? When he gets slapped?
That was This Is the End.
Oh.
It's at a house party at James Franco's, and Michael Cera's there.
Okay.
He's doing the booger sugar, that's what they call it. Having a good time.
Okay.
Blows him in the face of McLovin. He's just a jerk.
Oh, yeah.
But like, you think Michael Cera, you think that quiet, kind of awkward kid.
Yeah, totally.
In this, he's just the opposite.
He's the opposite.
He's the worst.
Yeah, he's the worst. And then Rihanna comes in and slaps him.
She's like singing, and he touches her, and
she
slaps him.
No hands on there, buddy. Hands off for sure. So it was slap worthy, is what you're saying.
Totally deserved. Yeah, and you know what? About 5 minutes later in the movie, he gets his. So.
What movie's that?
This Is the End. Seth Rogen, Jay Baruchel.
Yeah, that's what they get. They're in that house. And it's kind of a spoof the whole time.
It's a Rapture.
Yeah.
It's an old movie.
Yeah. No, I've seen it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because they're kind of stuck in there. Yeah, you're right. I remember that. Let's get to the comments. Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. Now, maybe you've forgotten some things in the past. Well, the great part of Booster Juice as they celebrate 25 years is they're bringing the past back. Some of your faves. The original, the marathon, and the ultra popular creamsicle. All back as they celebrate 25 years. Download the Boosters Reward app or go in store and order one today at Booster Juice.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Connor McDavid on the cusp of 1,000 career points, sitting at 999 and 8. Oilers taking on the Preds down at Rogers Place. Pucked up just after 7. We got pre-game coverage coming your way at 6 o'clock with Andrew Walker and analyst Ethan Morrow. Immediately following the Jason Gregor Show. Elsewhere, you got the Sens, Flyers, the Jets are in Tampa. Panthers host the Devils. Sharks up against the Rangers. Blues travel to Buffalo. Stars host the Bruins. Wild and the Canadians. The Islanders in Vancouver. And the Kraken up against the Blackhawks from the NFL. Should be a fun one tonight as the 7-2 Philadelphia Eagles hosting the 7-3 Washington Commanders. That'll get going at 6:15. And in the association, just one game tonight. The Jazz host the Mavs. Tip-off 7 o'clock from the Delta Center in Salt Lake City. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and hear from more members of the Edmonton Oilers. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Ain't it beautiful?
What does excellence mean to you, and how does it impact your decisions? Friends, it's Carrie Dahl, and I know that at Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't an option, it's their everything. From customer satisfaction and sales, service, inventory, and retention, they excel in all. Congratulations, Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners.
Volvo of Edmonton.
Find the perfect tractor for any job at Edmonton Kubota. Their massive selection of compact tractors has something for everyone, whether you're tackling small tasks or big projects. And right now, take advantage of 0% financing for up to 72 months. It's never been easier to get the power and reliability you need. Come down to Edmonton Kubota today and drive away with the tractor that's just right for you. Edmonton Kubota, where your perfect tractor awaits.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Weather forecast? Ugh. Savings forecast? Cha-ching. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 at Fountain Tire until December 14th. Restrictions apply. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
Hockey is back. And Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Gateway Toyota treats us like we're precious gems.
Because that's what we are.
Every vehicle purchased from Gateway Toyota includes enrollment into their GEM program. It stands for Gateway Exclusive Membership.
And it gives you 5-year access to over $2,500 in benefits.
Free oil changes.
Free tire and windshield repair.
Free car washes.
Even an annual detailing.
You'll also get special discounts, trade-in bonuses, and referral rewards.
I feel like a gem.
At Gateway Toyota, just off Calgary Trail at Ellerslie Road.
I couldn't ignore it. Everyone kept saying, "You look so tired."
Are you getting enough sleep, dear?
Hon, you look like you need some rest.
But I'm not tired. I guess I just look that way.
But you don't have to. I'm Dr. Vance Elliott, and I provide skin-refreshing treatments designed to give you a fresh and natural appearance. Don't worry, we won't drastically change how you look, but we will help you look as energetic as you feel. Book your consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Tim's Holiday Smile Cookie is back. From November 18th to 24th, get one to give back to your community. 100% of proceeds are donated to local charities, community groups, and Tim Hortons Foundation camps at participating restaurants in Canada.
Hand delivering a hamper to a family in need fills everyone's hearts with joy. Be part of the Holiday Hamper program. Adopt a local family and see the difference your groceries and gifts make firsthand. Sign up today at holidayhamper.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition Blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Closer on a game day. What could be a very special game day, a milestone game day. Welcome back, Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook, as well as X and Instagram. Sports1440.ca. Thanks so much for watching and listening to the show. We appreciate it. Always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where Thursday, the Daily Grand. Get in. You can get a daily $1,000 for 20 years. $7.2 million. Nothing wrong with that. Good luck at PlayAlberta.ca. And while you're there, use the promo code Gregor50 and you'll get a free $50 play at PlayAlberta.ca. Now, let's get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction. Hey, you'll see them right now. They're working on the Yellowhead. Before the overpasses and the road widening can happen, the first thing must be the relocation of all the underground utilities to get them out of the way for the new road construction. Has to happen while maintaining water, wastewater, and everything else. So they're multitaskers at GS Construction. As Mark Spector joins us. Spec, how you doing?
Oh, doing great, man. What's going on? Big game. Getting pumped up for it.
That's a rare regular season game where there's a little bit more buzz around. I kind of like it. Obviously 1,000 points for McDavid, become the fourth fastest in NHL history, become the fourth Oiler to do it, the 99th player to do it, and the first Oiler to do it on home ice, and really only the second Oiler to do it, because Gretzky did it in 1984 at home, but Messier and Curry did it on the road in Philadelphia and St. Louis, respectively. So it's not, the hometown crowd, you cheer them a lot of games, it makes you excited, and I think here would be an opportunity for the crowd to show their appreciation, but also I think McDavid would love to do it in front of the hometown crowd, just to kind of give them something to cheer for as well.
Yeah, there's a few elements there. First of all, has anyone got UC Saros in on this plan? Like he's up for this whole thing, right? A big celebration. He's not gonna. Dude,
have you seen UC Saros' numbers against McDavid and Draisaitl lately? I don't think they're like, oh, UC Saros and the Predators. Like the Nashville UC Saros spec has faced the third most high danger chances in the NHL this year.
Wow,
trust me. They are and the Oilers, they create some of the most. So It's UC Saros can stand on his head all he wants. They're probably still going to get a few past him tonight. Just the way Nashville has played. Now I know we had Hell Gill on earlier, and he said that their defensive game is coming around, but the Oilers, for whatever reason, Spec, and you were there, and when I talked to Ekholm about it, then he says, "Man, it's hard to explain, but it's pretty obvious right now that the Oilers have Nashville's number, and they've had it for it's not 1 or 2 games; it's 7 years."
Yeah, it is funny because Nashville once had their number for about 5 years, and you know, and I did hear the Ekholm quote, and I mean, I think the Oilers have lost their last 5 visits to Columbus, if I'm not mistaken. So, that's just one of those deals. But I mean, back to the home crowd. There's 2 things I know about McDavid. His nightmare would be to take this thing to Toronto, have to talk at the morning skate to a whole bunch of extra media in Toronto, have everyone talking about him all day, have Hockey Night in Canada be all about his 1,000th point, and then after the game have to face, you know, the Toronto media and hockey. He's not, we all know Connor a little bit here, and he talks about himself because he knows he has to, but he would much rather do this thing, A, in front of the home folks here, the Oilers fans, let them enjoy it, and B, have it be almost, you know, a relatively accomplished story once it's over when he gets to Toronto. I think that's the McDavid I know. He doesn't want to drag this thing into the center of the universe, man.
Oh God, no. He will try to do his best to end it. And the way he's playing, his last game is, you know, that was the best game of the year by far. Yeah. And really, I think his last 5 periods in Vancouver, he just, all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. It just kind of clicked, and boom, now you're kind of seeing the McDavid you're used to seeing. And normally when he gets on one of those runs, Spec, it doesn't end quickly.
Yeah, no, that's what I think the biggest thing here when we talk about, is he going to get a point tonight or not? I mean, the trajectory of his season, you know, it's funny because he had the short summer. He played 5 preseason games, and it didn't really help him. He didn't come out of the gates flying, and then he got hurt, but he hasn't been great this year. He's just been McDavid good. He's been a point a game guy, which for everyone else is awesome, but for him, that's below average. So, totally. You know, you're right. Like halfway through that Vancouver game, all of a sudden he popped. He was unbelievable against the Islanders. And usually you're right. The trajectory we've seen is this goes uphill for a little while. It stays up there. And obviously you can't play like this for forever, but he usually peaks for a span of 4 or 5 games for sure. Yeah.
And you throw in the fact that it's Nashville. And it's not like, we can talk a lot about McDavid. This is a night where he can just ride Draisaitl's coattails, because Draisaitl beats up on Nashville for fun. 23 goals, 37 points in his last 16 games. 23 goals in 16 games.
Yeah. I mean, we're going
to get dude.
I know, against a really good goalie. We're going to get to Draisaitl once we get finished feting McDavid. Draisaitl's in the league's lead, ties for the league with goals with 12, or at least he was after the Islanders game. I don't know if somebody scored last night or not, Jason. I haven't checked. But, you know, 12 goals already this year. He's well on pace for is it his 4th 50-goal season this year if he gets there?
Yeah, it would be his 4th if he makes it, yes.
Yeah, so, I mean, you know, a guy scores 50 goals once, he's not a 50-goal scorer. A guy scores 50 goals 3 times, 4 times. Now you're a 50-goal scorer, and only the greatest scorers in the history of hockey. Mike Bossy, he was a 50-goal scorer. Wayne Gretzky was a 50-goal scorer, right? Brett Hull was a 50-goal scorer. If Leon Draisaitl is getting to the point, and I have no doubt he'll get there, he will go down in history as a 50-goal scorer, and that guy walks in the Hall of Fame.
Oh no, Draisaitl's career ends today. He's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, he's already got 350 goal seasons. He's got 400 point seasons. He's already got a Hart. He's got a Art Ross. No, he could retire tomorrow. He's a Hall of Famer. Right? To me, it's not even a debate. That's an easy one for him. But it's, you know, where is he going to end up in the as much as we talk about McDavid, and rightfully so. And tonight it should be McDavid, but Draisaitl, he'll get to 1,000 points next season. And, you know, where he's another guy probably going to end up 1,500 plus points, for goodness sakes. Like, he's a pretty dynamic player. Obviously the best German player we'll ever see thus far. And maybe the best you'll ever see for a long time. It's going to be hard to match it. But so they got 11 forwards tonight, Spec. which I'm sure McDavid's like, oh, 11 forwards, even better.
Awesome.
And all the forwards in the game were like, oh, on McDavid's 1,000-point night, I'm probably going to get a shift or two with him. It just makes everybody more excited.
It does. It's kind of funny. I mean, I'm long on record, and this goes back to the Woodcroft days. I'm opposed to 11-7 as an ongoing strategy. I get it why they're doing it tonight. They don't have enough guys. Arvids is hurt. Sure, why not? David McDavid's having this thing going on. Sure, I'm good with it. But in the end, the guys that suffer in 11-7 is that poor defenseman that's going to get 3 minutes, and the two orphan wingers at the bottom of the lineup that if it's a close game, they're not going to play, right? Who's it going to be? Ryan and Perry at the bottom or something?
Well, it sounds
or maybe
like
Ryan and Janmark at the bottom or something like that, right?
Yeah. Well, Jeff Skinner maybe the way
maybe
he's going.
Maybe Jeff Skinner. But the point is, if it's a 1-1, 2-2 game, they're going to stop playing. That's how the history goes on that thing. So I hate 11-7, but tonight it could be kind of fun. 11-7.
Oh yeah. Well, I look at it just from a pure strategic standpoint. McDavid's line starts the game. Henrique lines goes second, and then McDavid comes right back with Draisaitl and Podkolzin. That's what I would do.
That's what you would do.
Yeah, you get McDavid, and we've seen the coach do it before. You get McDavid 2 shifts right off the hop, right? Knobloch last game. What did he say afterwards? He said, "Well, I should have played him more in the first and second period. I played him a lot in the third because he was really feeling it." And so I think it's a no-brainer. He's going to go on the first shift tonight, and he's going to go on the third shift tonight. Spec, watch closely. I
will. Okay. Well, It was pretty. You know what? We've all covered a lot of McDavid post-game scrums, and I've seen. Well, hey, our listeners right now, they've all seen what we've seen. Some magical stuff. I don't remember him ever coming off a game and going, "Man, I didn't want to come off the ice tonight." He was feeling it so much the other night. That was the quote that stood out to me. You know what? As he's getting older and as he's maturing, and now he's almost 28 here. I like the McDavid now that's willing to say some stuff like, "Hey, I was pretty good," or I'm playing well, I'm feeling it. He said after the game, he said it was almost an easy goal against the Islanders because they were so tired out. The old McDavid never would have said it was an easy goal, right? Never. So he's growing up. He's more mature. He realizes there's context to his words and people get it. And he's letting us all in a little bit more. He's a lot better interview than he used to be. And speaking of interviews, I really did enjoy the chance we had to talk to Stu Skinner this morning.
Yeah. I think I've appreciated, like, Stu is very comfortable in where he's at. Right. I like his honesty. He's like, you know what? I know my numbers are terrible, but I actually think I'm a way better goalie now than I was midway through last season. And, he talked a lot about kind of the process and where he's going as a goaltender. And I know there's lots of people out there that are super frustrated. But I think people would be surprised when he breaks down things he's working on, this or that, what he feels you're growing at. And because Stu Skinner still hasn't played that many games. And he kind of got thrust into a starting role. He never got to be a backup where you get to watch from the bench a lot of the time, Spec. Yep. You can learn a lot. Right. And so he was a starter, which is great. I'm sure you can learn more playing, but there's going to be some rocky roads. And I think there's a lot of people now in what they're saying about Stu Skinner, especially when someone says never. I learned many years ago to say never about a player who's young, who's had some really good stretches, to say, "Oh, you'll never win with Stu Skinner," when you just went to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, and in the from Game 6 of the second round, he had better numbers than Bobrovsky overall.
Mm-hmm. He was better than Ottinger,
and he won Game 6 on his own. So to say that you can never win with him, I think is one where you're just opening yourself up to eat your words significantly.
Yeah, I agree. Goalies are quarterbacks. They get too much fault when it's bad. They get too much credit when it's good. As a guy, like, you know him well. The listeners should know this. Like this morning, Gregor hung around today, and it's not something I would do that often, frankly. We had to wait through Skinner skated with the team. Everybody else was gone home. All the main guys interviewed before practice. We had to hang around. They stayed out forever. Gregor hung around for 40 minutes just to ask Skinner for his sort of a technical approach to the Palmieri goal and why it went in and what he could have done different. And it was off the record. And we talked in the dressing room. You guys let me in. I was listening in on it. And you should know, folks, that reporters don't always hang around for 40 minutes just to get 2 questions in with a guy. And the other side of it is, a lot of goalies, when you go to them and say, hey, tell me why you let that goal in, man, they get their back up. They don't want to talk about it. They think you're criticizing them. And Stu Skinner just opened it up today for us, Jay. And he went through every step of that goal, what he was thinking, why he did it. I know you've been talking about it on the air, so we don't have to belabor it. But the fact that Stu goes through that in front of the media, in front of guys like you and me, when he doesn't have to, right? And, we're blessed and the listeners blessed, because I know you've been explaining that whole thing, how he stopped on Siplikov and dug in, and then he couldn't get across for Palmieri. And I didn't know any of that. And most goalies don't tell you that stuff. So I thought it was really cool of you for hanging around and Skinner for opening up a little bit.
Yeah. And it's, because a lot of it came from the Kevin Woodley conversation where he talked about taking ice. And I just was saying, like, learning the process of when you take the ice, and he like, man, it was like I love learning stuff. I'm a big fan of learning, right? Like, I never played goal. I don't really understand the position. I've learned to respect it infinitely more here ever since I had Woodley on the show. And, when Stu talked about, well, you go up to take ice, and then, because Kevin actually was the one who helped me formulate my questions, not like he didn't coach me, but for how he explained it, I took some of his explanation, listened to it, and said, okay, well, in this situation, this happens because if you go out too far, then if you have to come across, you have way farther to go to get across to make the save. So if you take too much ice, and so that means coming out too far, then it means you have to save farther to your right. And so a lot of times you will take more ice if you're coming out to challenge a guy because you think he's going to shoot, and then you'll always retreat back anyway. And then you retreat back at an angle, so it allows you to slide across even if the pass comes. And what was interesting, he said, I'm still working and learning how to get better at not getting stuck, because some guys, and Siplikov did a very good job, and I went back and watched the replay after Stu explained it to me, was you go back and you watch that goal. So Siplikov is coming down what would be his right side, Stu's left, and it looks like he's going to shoot.
Yes.
Right. And so because the guy coming in late in Palmieri, Stu didn't think he was a real option, but then Siplikov made a really nice little delay play, switched his body, and now suddenly he's in an area where you're like, oh, he can pass. And so you get stuck there. And he talked about how as a goalie, you don't want to get stuck, and players want to get you stuck. So it's a little bit of a game of cat and mouse. And sometimes you get stuck and they don't take advantage. And sometimes you get stuck and you still make the save. But he talked about how you want to, it's a thing about movement and getting there. And I think you can't work on everything all the time, because someone's going to say, well, why doesn't he know how to do it? He knows how to do it. He just wants to limit how often you get stuck. And, it makes a lot of sense when you break it down theoretically.
Well, and remember that on this occasion, he got stuck, and the guy firing the one-timer is a professional 30-goal, 40-goal man or whatever he is in Kyle Palmieri, who's been doing this for forever.
Right inside the post.
Puts it just inside the post up high. It was just a fantastic shot. So, you talk about never saying never. I say this to my wife: when you go to a party or something, no one ever walks up to an engineer and says, hey, when you're designing that bridge, here's what you should do. But they all walk up to the goalie or to the sports writer and say, okay, here's what you should write. And, you should have made that save, Stu, and this is how you should do it. Everybody's a goalie expert, right? Even guys who never played goal. So, I've got a piece coming out. It'll probably be Friday afternoon. I talked to Skinner quite a bit about turning all that off, and how in his world, like, his friends don't come up to him and when they're golfing or when they're having dinner or when they're hanging, they're not telling him, well, asking him about his saves and why don't you try this. That's not what's going on. He has a bubble built around himself so that every Yahoo like Spector and Gregor and Woodley and the people that know perhaps even less if they're out there, they're not getting into his world. He's keeping them out of his head. And as a goalie in a Canadian market, if you can't keep everybody out of your head, boy, your head's going to be a busy place.
Yeah. And so, like, and we did it. I thought I did it respectfully. We were just having a conversation.
For sure. No, today was great.
I always ask him usually after a conversation with Woodley, I like to go, and even Calvin Pickard's great at it too. I like to learn more about the position, where it's just a conversation of, okay, so when you're like, what goes through your head? What's your approach on this play and on this play? And they're not giving away the caramel secret in doing it. It's just allowing you to understand. So if something happens, it's like, well, you know what? Maybe that. And sometimes, guess what? The goalie's not going to make the right read. It's going to happen. The defenseman doesn't make the right read. The ref doesn't make the right read. The forward doesn't make the right read. Sometimes the goalie's not going to make the perfect right read. Sometimes you can get back and catch yourself, right? Sometimes your defenseman helps you. Maybe he stops the pass, yada, yada. And that's because it's a game of mistakes. If the goalie played every shot perfect, you wouldn't score.
Yeah, or sometimes the guy hits the post and then you're not talking about it the next day, right? So
that's true too.
Yeah, no, it is. There's lots of mistakes, but if you're going to be the guy who puts the pads on, and this goes for kids from 10 years up, you're the last guy. If you make the mistake, it's in the net. So that's the one that they don't talk about, the 3 mistakes that got made in front of the goalie nearly as much as the goalie that made the mistake. And that's just that's the position. If you can't stand the heat, right? Stay out of the kitchen.
Yeah, it's very true. Spec, good stuff, buddy. We'll see you. Connor McDavid, does he get his 1,000th point on a goal or an assist?
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I got to say assist. He's a pass first guy. So I will say assist. And why wouldn't you say, you know what? Everyone's saying Draisaitl. I got Hyman.
Hyman. All right. Spec, I'll see you at the rink.
All right. Sounds good.
There you go. That's Mark Spector in the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. We'll return. We'll get more from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, a guy who has he's been with McDavid ever since McDavid came into the league. One of the few players who's been on the team longer. We'll talk to Nugent-Hopkins about McDavid, the quest for 1,000 points, the Oilers' power play coming to life, and the importance of trying to get your first 3-game winning streak of the season. It's coming up next on The Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, and Oilers Nation YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Raise a smoothie to any friend you've had since 1999. That's a good friend. And Booster Juice was there, now celebrating 25 years in Canada and more than 450 locations from coast to coast. A silver anniversary splashed with lots of oranges. Celebrate 25 years of Booster Juice with the return of OG favorite smoothies like the Marathon, the Original, and the Orangesicle, made with oranges, orange sorbet, and vanilla frozen yogurt. Happy 25th, Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
You've heard people say dream big and think about your future. Well, at GS Construction, we live by those words every day. You see, GS Construction lays pipes in the underground systems in your area. So we don't just think about today, we think about tomorrow and the future of Edmonton's communities and neighborhoods, the places we call home and the places we will call home. We're there when new neighborhoods are developed and return when it's time to replace them. For more on what we do, go to gsconstruction.ca.
Get early access to real Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Save up to 65% off select sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Plus, save up to $700 off a big screen TV. And get free shipping on TVs over 50 inches. Find 40% off mattresses and next day delivery on in-stock beds. Plus, save 3 times the tax when you buy 2 or more Samsung major kitchen appliances. Find a lower price before the end of the year, and The Brick will refund the difference. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details.
The zero-turn blowout sales event is on now at the Lawnmower Hospital. Get great savings on all in-stock zero-turn tractors from trusted brands like Toro, Country Clipper, and Hustler Turf. Backpack blowers are in stock for the leaves and fall cleanup. And of course, the snow. Our Toro snowblowers are in stock now too. Be prepared because winter will be here soon. LawnmowerHosp.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital. Tim's Holiday Smile Cookie is back. From November 18th to 24th, get one to give back to your community. 100% of proceeds are donated to local charities, community groups, and Tim Hortons Foundation camps at participating restaurants in Canada.
A career in the public service is better in Alberta.
better wages, lower taxes, better job opportunities with our thriving economy, better chances for advancement, plus a better future with new investment in healthcare and education. Public service. It's better here. Learn more and discover new career opportunities in the public sector at alberta.ca/betterhere. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around. Serving all of Alberta, DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. Perfect for tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
Take the pain out of airport parking with Park to Go, your first-class parking experience. Book self-serve and valet parking and save up to 30%. Book now with promo code RADIO-YEG. That's RADIO-YEG.
When skies turn gray and chaos unfolds, there's always a beacon of hope. The Red Cross. Through floods, fires, and unforeseen calamities, they are the helping hands, mending wounds and restoring faith. You can make a huge difference. Visit redcross.ca. Donate today. Light a lamp of hope.
It makes us all better, faster, stronger. That don't kill me, can only make us.
We're excited. A lot of texts coming in. Welcome back. 833-401-1440 in our E-Well inbox. 833-401-1440. They are your partners in power. Surprising, all the electrical gear. You can get it easily. EWEL.ca. Hey, we asked about great cameos. Guys, Cam Neely. Come on. Seabass. Good one from Mark. And boys, what about Bob Barker and Happy Gilmore? Classic. Very good fire. I would agree with that. Tom Cruise was getting lots of votes in Tropic Thunder. I haven't seen that movie, so I can't say. So
you got to see that one. Movie about a movie.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Kind of like a mockumentary of a bunch of movie stars in the jungle making a movie. Robert Downey Jr., Ben Stiller, Jack Black.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, it's very dumb, but it's good.
Okay. Yeah. Dumb but good.
There's
been a few of those.
Enjoyable.
Hey guys, Pierre LeBrun said he thinks McDavid will be the greatest of all time. He was the other guys were saying that's probably not going to be true. Hayes said top 10 for sure. Yeah. He's not a Maple Leaf. Of course, Hayes would never say he's top 10. Connor McDavid is top 5 right now. That's just the truth. And when it's going to be hard pressed. So you'll have to look at lots of things. I know that they'll do, adjusted eras and all those things, but you can't just adjust era for points without taking into account all of the other things. I've always argued that. And if one person grossly dominated his era way more than everybody else, well, that's an advantage, right? So there's that factor. There's then the factor of equipment's better, training's better, nutrition's better, all those things. So does that lead to the players allowing to maximize their ability more? 100%. 100%. But Oilers fans, you know what? They can argue and you'll have different generations, Gretzky or McDavid, but imagine. It's plausible. And when it's said and done, McDavid and Gretzky will be 1-2. And they'll spend a lot of their time, not majority for Gretzky, but most likely majority for McDavid in Edmonton. Pretty lucky. But to suggest top 10 is moronic. He's already top 10. He's probably top 5 right now. And his career is only halfway done. And that's why people, I can't put where he's going to end up because we don't know what happens in the second half of his career. Like this is only the start of his 10th season. Guys have played 20 years for a long time. Gretzky played 20 years. And McDavid might play 24. I think it's very possible. You don't know. So where he'll end up, I don't know. But to suggest you think, oh, maybe top 10, that's just a guy. And you know, like there's times where you can say stuff to get reactions, and I get it. But my own personal opinion, I try to avoid doing that just because. And I'll tell you, if McDavid played for Toronto, he would say he's the greatest ever. Not even close. Right? And hey, I understand that that's your market. And so you want to appeal to it. But you can still be realistic at the same time. I don't think you have to be, you know, so pom-pom wearing that it's blatantly obvious. But that's just me. You know what? And it works, and that's great. But it's not the approach I would take. Now, let's get to our the lineup now, brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine, home of the $50 bi-weekly ATV. Or you can be on a boat next summer. You mean thinking about it? Guess what? You can get one as low as $105 bi-weekly right now at Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. The lineup for the Edmonton Oilers tonight will be a little bit different than what you've seen, because the Oilers are going to go with 11 forwards and 7 defensemen tonight because Victor Arvidsson is out. He's banged up, nothing too serious according to a Knobloch. He is not going to play tonight, so they'll go with 11 and 7. McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, and Hyman, Podkolzin and Draisaitl. I don't know if they'll have a regular winger. Knobloch hinted, you know, Perry's going to get some shifts there. Jeff Skinner, a few others. You know, then Henrique, Janmark, and Brown. Then you have Perry, Ryan, and Skinner maybe there as well. I think you're going to see I think you're going to see Draisaitl and McDavid at times, 5-on-5. You're going to see lots of different combinations. Hyman's going to get some time, probably on Draisaitl's line as well. Defense, Ekholm, Bouchard. I would think Nurse and Stetcher, although Kulak plays there a lot too. And then, so it's hard, right? Dermott, Stetcher, Emberson. I think score will impact a little bit for minutes played for guys tonight. If Edmonton gets up big, then you'll see more of a rotation. I think if it's a close game, you're going to see probably the regular 6 defenseman would be my guess. So we'll see how Paul Coffey runs that. Calvin Pickard will get the start in goal. Pickard is 3-2 on the season, including going 2-0 against the Preds. The Oilers won those games by scores of 5-2 and 4-1 or 4-2 and 5-1. I can't remember. But either way, they've only allowed 3 goals and they've scored 9 in the 2 games. Draisaitl has 4 of the goals. Brett Kulak has scored twice, including both in that game in Nashville. For the Predators, they don't have Novak. He's banged up, and no return date for him just yet. O'Reilly's centering Stamkos and Forsberg now. Colton Sisson between Nyquist and Jonathan Marchessault. Juuso Parssinen with Tomasino and Evangelista. That's their kid line. Some young guys. We'll see. If you're Knobloch, I think at times you're going to want to try to get McDavid or Draisaitl's line out against them. And then you've got the big fourth line, McCarron, Smith, and Zachary Leroux on defense. Brady Shea's now playing with Roman Josi, Jeremy Lauzon, and Alexander Carrier. And then Luke Shen and Mark Delgado will be the third pair. And UC Saros looks like he is getting the start in goal. I mentioned that so far this season, Saros has faced the 3rd most high danger chances amongst goaltenders. So Nashville has been pretty leaky. And the Oilers are hoping they can continue to create some chances as they have all season long. That's the lineup report brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. Let's get to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins now. And, you know, he's been with McDavid for, well, this is their 10th season together. What stands out most for him as far as McDavid as a teammate?
Well, 71, huh?
No.
It's a lot.
That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. So we'll get to the first one. You ready? There we go. Here's McDavid on the stands up most as a teammate.
I mean, first of all, insane accomplishment he's about to hit here. I think Leon said it's legendary stuff. Be the 4th fastest in NHL history. in an era that he's played in is remarkable. So it's been a lot of fun to be a part of, and will continue to be a lot of fun to be a part of. I think the biggest thing, kind of as an individual, is his leadership qualities for sure. You come in as doesn't really matter who you are. You come in as an 18, 19-year-old, and you get thrown to sea. As a 19-year-old kid, it's tough, and he's really done a great job of becoming that captain for us on and off the ice, and finding his leadership qualities. And I think that's something that has really stood out, and I think for most of us, that's kind of what we're most proud of.
Yeah. And so McDavid going for 0.1000 tonight. Tonight is his 659th game. He is 99th all-time in scoring right now, and he will become the 99th player to reach 1,000. Could McDavid score 100 points in the final 65 games of the season? I think it's very, very plausible that he could. And if that happens, then he'll be at 1,100, which would put him one ahead of Glenn Anderson, and he would sit in 67th all time at the end of 10 seasons. 67th after only 10 years. And then, the climb becomes a little bit harder, right? The 67, I think, to get to 1,200, he would jump up to, I think it's 47th all time in NHL scoring. So that would likely happen next season. Most of us are assuming that, he would be a 100-point guy again next year. And so, yeah, if he gets to 1,200, that actually that gets him to, he would be tied with Dino Ciccarelli at 1,200 points. But let's just say he gets 115 next year. I'm going low because, better chance. If he's 115, then he'd be 49th. Just jumping ahead of Bobby Clark, Bernie Nichols, and Vincent Damphousse. And after that, it's just going to be a continual ascent up the standings. After that, he would probably be up to 39th the following season, moving ahead of Delvecchio and Jean Rattel and Peter Stastny and Al McInnes and Phil Housley, Norm Allman, Jean Beliveau, Jeremy Roenick, Larry Murphy. And then the climb is just, continues. Now, there's some active guys who are still climbing as well. Anze Kopitar is currently sitting in 44th with 1,231 points, so he would climb up a little bit. Patrick Kane has 1,294. He is 6 shy of tying Jerome McGinley for 37th at 1,300 points. Jenny Malkin is 36th with 1,314 points. And other active guys, you have Alex Ovechkin, who is currently 13th. He should move ahead of both Ray Bourque and Phil Esposito this year. And that will put him into 11th, right behind Crosby. But Crosby's actually going to pass Joe Sakic and move into 9th this year. Crosby needs 29 points to pass Joe Sakic. And then next season, very good chance that Sid the Kid will pass Mayor Lemieux for most points all time as a member of the Penguins, if he's still a member of the Penguins. I know he probably will be, but I can make the argument why he shouldn't be, for the team and for him, because they ain't getting better. Dubas, not good. He made that team worse since he took over, not better. Final break. We'll come back, wrap things up. Lots more text to get to regarding the orders, Connor McDavid, and much more on a busy Thursday edition of the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, and Facebook, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game and be sure to use the promo code Gregor50 and get a free $50 play at PlayAlberta.ca.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions take one for Gene Principe. Are you ready, Gene?
Ready? I'm not just here to make a thermo a couple of bucks. I'd never just microphone it in.
Take one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for furnace season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep, unlike a furnace, I have no filter.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
At Papa John's, better is our specialty. Try our butter chicken pizza, the meat, the works, garden fresh, and more. Each special in its own way, just like you. With that ooey, gooey, crispy, crunchy taste, fresh, never frozen dough, and quality topping. Special has never tasted better. And so, for a limited time, get any large specialty pizza for just $17.99 with promo code LG1799 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Papa John's.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
A premier hockey solution with a clear path for long-term development is proud to be entering its 8th season of independent borderless hockey, featuring provincial and cross-province competition with showcase-style regular season gameplay and a strong commitment to individual skill development. It's an attractive option for those seeking family life balance. The Hockey Super League offers opportunities for both male and female athletes born between 2012 and 2017. Visit hockeysuperleague.com for more information.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Get early access to real Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Save up to 65% off select sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining room furniture. Plus, save up to $700 off a big screen TV and get free shipping on TVs over 50 inches. Find 40% off mattresses and next day delivery on in-stock beds. Plus, save 3 times the tax when you buy 2 or more Samsung major kitchen appliances. Find a lower price before the end of the year and The Brick will refund the difference. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details.
Hi, folks. This is Big Al from Discount Diesel Parts. We carry a full line of heavy-duty diesel parts to cover all your engine needs. Heads, in-frame kits, fuel injectors, turbos, oil and water pumps, gasket kits, and so much more. Whether it's for highway trucks, heavy equipment, or farm machinery, we have it at a great price. You can reach us at 780-463-3111 or at discountdiesel.ca. And know that Discount Diesel's got the parts to get it done.
Tim's Holiday Smile Cookie is back. From November 18th to 24th, get one to give back to your community. 100% of proceeds are donated to local charities, community groups, and Tim Hortons Foundation camps at participating restaurants in Canada.
Take the pain out of airport parking with Park to Go. Your first-class parking experience. Book self-serve and valet parking and save up to 30%. Book now with promo code RADIOYEG. That's Radio YEG.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Oh, you might be getting up, standing up. Throw your hands up tonight if Connor McDavid gets 0.1. Not if, when. Let's be real here. Connor McDavid's getting a point tonight. I actually think he's going to get 3. The great players have a history when it comes to milestones of having big nights. Wayne Gretzky, who was the quickest to 1,000 points ever, was at 999, and he got 6 points to get to 1,005 in only 424 games. Merrill Lemieux needed 2 points. He got 3. Mike Bossy needed 4. He got 4 to get to 1,000. McDavid only needs 1. He ain't just going to skate away with 1 point. No chance. Yari Curry needed 2. He got 3. Mark Messier needed 2. He got 3 when he went to actually, I think Mess needed 1 and he got 3. Either way, him and Curry got 3. Lemieux had 3. Bossy had 4. Gretzky had 5. I'm using the guys who were ahead of McDavid or previous Edmonton Oilers to get 1,000 points. And so I just think, McDavid is going to have some hops. He's going to be fired up. And you get that. I think that it'll happen in the first period. And I think it's going to be something that just builds on for the crowd and for the team. And the other thing is, like, the Oilers want to win. So McDavid gets that point early. Now it's like, hey, guys, we got the point, but now we got to get the win. So that's why I think the point early, I don't see it being like, oh, okay, we got it. They don't want, how it is. When you have a big milestone, you want it to be in a win much more than a loss, 100%. Right? First NHL goal. Now you're super excited. Don't get me wrong, but you'd always rather take it in a victory if you can. So we'll see where it goes tonight, but interesting on that. Also, out of town scoreboard, Timothy Liljegren with his first goal as a member of the Sharks. They lead the Rangers 1-0. Sens and Flyers are tied. Senators are all over the Flyers. They outshot them 14-3, but it's only a 1-1. Lightning up on the Jets after one period. The Jets trailing. That's rare. And Jesper Bratt just scored. It is, not just, I guess, a bit ago. 2 seconds left in the first period to make it 2-1. Other games tonight, St. Louis and Sabres, where they just dropped the puck there. Bruins and the Stars, Canadians in Minnesota, Islanders in Vancouver, and Chicago is in Seattle. Of course, the Oilers puck drop, 7:08 tonight. 7:08 for those who, and heck, I think McDavid's going to be starting. Pretty confident of that. I wouldn't want to be late to start this game. I think McDavid is going to be rocking and rolling right from the puck drop, as are his teammates. If you missed it, some of the other kind of numbers about McDavid when it comes to 1,000, he does it tonight. That'll be 98 games quicker than Sidney Crosby. 98. That's a significant difference. Significant. Like, Gretzky beat Lemieux by 89 games. McDavid's going to beat Crosby by 98. Right? Think about that. There's a bigger gap between McDavid and Crosby raced to 1,000 points than there was Gretzky and Lemieux. Now, both McDavid and Gretzky were still quite a bit ahead. But also, Paul Coffey, shout out to Paul, 15th fastest to 1,000 points in 770 games as a defenseman. And of course, we talk about Hall of Famers. Every one of them: Gretzky, Lemieux, Bossy, Stastny, Curry, Lafleur, Trottier, Savard, Yzerman, Dion, Esposito, Coffey, all in the Hall of Fame. Crosby still playing, McDavid still playing, and Jaromir Jagr still not official. Although it does seem odd, although I guess, hey, he's playing over there, so you got to be officially retired for 3 years from hockey, not just from the NHL, because he's the Hockey Hall of Fame. So, JJ will have to wait a little bit longer. So tomorrow, we'll find out. Can the Oilers have a 3-game winning streak? And then they go into Toronto. I hope Austin Matthews is playing. It's always better when the best players are in the game are playing. He's missed 5 in a row, though, for the Leafs, so we'll see if he gets into that game or not. The Oilers will have a 3-game road trip. Toronto, Montreal, and then Ottawa. And the Senators are playing really well. Out shooting teams heavily most nights, but so far unable to get a lead in Philly tonight. Brady Tkachuk does have his 9th goal of the season. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. We'll talk to you tomorrow. And remember, the boss, Bruce Springsteen, 4 Loge tickets. We're going to auction those off tomorrow for charity, courtesy of one of our lovely listeners. It's fantastic, man. It's coming to town next Tuesday, so think about it. Tune in tomorrow. Let's get to the Conman Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Your home for no payments, no interest for 1 full year on your furnace. Don't wait till it conks out and you're freezing. Get it done now. Upgrade at legacyheating.ca. Good night. Enjoy the game. And here's the point 1,000. McDavid will get 3 tonight.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
As Gregor just mentioned, Connor McDavid on the pursuit of 1,000 points. He is one away as the Oilers host the Preds down at Rogers Place. Puck drop just after 7 o'clock. We've got pre-game coverage with Andrew Walker and former Oilers captain Ethan Morrow getting going at the top of the hour. Elsewhere, after 20 minutes, the Flyers and Sens tied at 1 apiece. The Lightning up on the Jets 1-0. Devils have a 2-1 lead over the Panthers, and the Rangers at home trail the Sharks 1-0. Midway through the first out in Buffalo, the Sabres behind the Blues 1-0. Later tonight, you got the Stars and the Bruins, the Canadiens into Minnesota, Canucks host the Islanders, and the Blackhawks taking on the Kraken. In the NFL, Week 11 kicks off with a battle of two NFC East powerhouse. The 7-2 Eagles take on the 7-3 Commanders. That gets going in about 20 minutes time. And just one game in the association, the Mavs head to Utah, taking on the Jazz. That'll start at 7. Coming up next here on Sports 1440, we've got Oilers pregame coverage with Andrew Walker. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Hand delivering a hamper to a family in need fills everyone's hearts with joy.